You're lying to me? Man, I know you're lying.
Mommy.
Mommy? Coke
Mommy.
placement. Cherry Coke placement.
Oh yeah, of course, man.
Zero Coke. We're modernized from the 80s.
Oh, true.
I do enjoy a good Coke Zero, especially a cherry Coke Zero.
Mm-hmm.
There's something, but you can't do a lot of them because it's kind of sweet. But man,
Yeah,
It does tickle my taste buds as well.
it does tickle my
I'll
taint
take
as
the
well.
taste buds.
Is-
I said
What do you got
taste
there?
buds, you wacky bastard.
Oh, you'll see.
I hope it's a head, severed head.
If you'll be very disappointed or no.
I'll be rather excited. Excuse me.
Oh, true.
I feel like I'm like, I gotta get a fucking laptop, or get mine working to the point where
Me
like,
too. Having a laptop would
fucking
make this
works.
whole fucking show so much easier.
I figured having like your desktop would make it pretty simple now.
Well, it would, like, yes, it's simple, but laptops would make it easier because then I could realistically,
Right there.
everything's right there, and I could
Yeah.
move it around, and I could move, like, do anything and go anywhere.
Is my I have a fan on. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Can you hear wind
No.
noise? Okay, good.
Mm-mm.
You
I might
guys
have to
can hear
turn
me.
it up.
You guys can hear me okay like this, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
okay, so
fine.
I don't want to have two because then I start yelling. I just need one, and I'm charging
You're
too.
good.
So cool.
Yeah, you're good, man. Yeah, that thing works just as good as whatever else you're doing. You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude.
I've actually surprised, like, listening back to the past couple. Like I was going through the last one, and fucking like, even whatever we're all like. I know Ben has an exterior mic motor, but like me and yours both sound fine, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It surprises me how well it actually picks it up. Because I can't hear. I'm used to the podcast where I can hear myself because we have the pro setup. Like this, I can't hear myself. I mean, I can hear myself, but like.
I love how
you know?
the show always starts with, it's just like our logo and like some like shitty fucking music I find, and then it's just us like talking, just like not even about anything. It's just like, hey, yeah, so like I have a cherry Coke.
Yeah. Why did it already start? We started.
No, I'm just, well, I mean,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
technically this is just the precursor, but
Yeah.
you could always,
creepy.
yeah,
music.
it's super creepy music, and then you just hear us rambling about essentially nothing for about 5
like it.
minutes.
Jerry Seinfeld made millions and millions and millions of dollars on a show about nothing. So nothing works.
Well,
It's not Stephen King days. It's not Seinfeld days. We ain't making shit.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't
Yeah,
think
good.
we're ever gonna be making millions of dollars, but
You don't know that. None of those people
Bless
know
you.
what they're going to do.
thank
either.
you.
Granted,
What he's
I don't
doing
think.
to entertain our small brains.
Oh, fuck it. Here we go. Ready?
What a rush. That's a
I
wrestling.
have
thing for you.
Coca-Cola.
There you go. Yeah, I tended. And
Don't
Joe,
lie to me.
Joe has a
Hey.
scalp. I'm fucking sad as shit that I didn't think of that.
What
You
is the
son of a
answer?
bitch.
I
It's
can't
okay.
see.
I hope
You're
you
looking
keep
so
that
hot.
on the entire time, and also
I'll
move like a
try.
mannequin.
It's already driving me crazy.
Yeah, long hair sucks. I had that shit for years.
why
Like
I'm
real,
bald.
real long hair.
Right, Ben?
Yeah, that's why I'm bald.
That's why.
That-
that's why.
That's
he's
exactly why I'm bald, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
not genetics.
Yeah.
No. Nope.
So I gotta
Well-
work on my Italian New York accent. Maybe it's gonna
Work-
be a
work on-
bastardized Rhode Island.
Work on
version of
the
it, but-
aesthetics, Joe. You're gonna have it down. Oh, all right. Oh no, you already lost it. You son of a bitch. You're
Wow,
good.
crushing it
Technical difficulty.
immediately.
All right, ready?
Lost my-
Welcome back to the Bonded by Horror show. You guys have been here before. Hopefully you've been enjoying
my
the
trick.
past couple episodes. We're up to episode 7. I don't know how much longer we're gonna end up numbering them. We'll probably personally number them just so we can keep a track on them. But considering we're doing specific movies every time, you know, I mean, I don't
It's still
know
nice
how we're
because
gonna-
then
how
it's
long we're
easier
gonna-
for other people to know, like, if whenever we get to, like 50 or
Yeah.
the big numbers,
Yeah,
it's
go back to that
it's
one.
nice for the fans to do it too, dummy.
All right, so then we'll keep on going. So lucky number 7. This is actually my lucky number, just so you guys know. So this should be a pretty fun show. It's Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah, boys.
We're Bonded by Horror, and I'm Eddie fucking Vegas.
I'm not Eddie Vegas. I'm a city.
No, you're not.
That
JC Walsh. I got this crazy wig on. I got my Lions Door T-shirt.
fuck
that
yeah.
New York grime.
Hell yeah. All right, boys. I like to come up with something different every time, so Scrooge Champ, otherwise known as this time, Mommy Champ. Instead of, I usually call myself Daddy. It's Mommy Champ this time.
I was gonna call you the Scalp Champ, but I mean, that
Ooh,
would
Scalp Champ?
insinuate that you were scalping.
The Scroogey Scalp?
Champ.
I almost got
Scroogey Scalp.
I almost got baloney to make it look like I had a scalp on and I would peel it. That was my
cool.
that was my idea, and then have like a little ketchup on. I don't care. That was my original idea.
Pretty good. Well, you fucking failed, Ben.
I did.
So you're
did not.
welcome. I unfortunately didn't come prepared tonight, other than my my vast opinion about this movie. I almost just said something different, but
Vast opinion, like the
vast
ocean
opinion
vast.
about this movie, which we're going to get into
was
momentarily.
vast.
But let's do a little breakdown of the past week or so. If you guys are again, not to
we'll
date
catch up with
the show too
everybody.
much, but
Yeah.
little catch up, nothing crazy. I do believe good brother J.C. Walsh, or Joseph Walsh, or as I like to call him, God Hates Joe Walsh, does have a new announcement. He kind of announced it at the end of the last show, but it actually officially was announced earlier, I think, this week. Oh, what is that?
Yeah, I almost forgot.
Yeah,
So,
say your stuff.
before
I'm
I
gonna
go
grab my
crazy-
plug stuff.
Yeah, before I go crazy, you tell everybody what dropped, what was released the other day
What was it?
via your social media.
May 28th. Oh my God, was it 28th? Yeah.
Last weekend, yeah.
Last
I
weekend.
think it was last Friday. I think it was the day after.
Yes. An anthology I'm in called Dark Words: Stories of Urban Legends and Folklore. Oh, I think I got the title right. So
we
I'm
both
in there
have
with
it.
I'm in there with nice. I didn't get mine yet.
We'll say that for a minute.
Because you don't live where they fucking make them, bro. We do.
I do.
I'm in there with 11 other awesome authors, and also Brian Keene did the introduction, so that's really cool. So like, it's 12 stories of urban legends. Everybody did a story based on where they live. I did mine in Philadelphia. So it was my first non-New England story. So called The Inside Out Man. It's based off the I don't know how anybody can take me serious with this. It's based off the Philadelphia experiment.
Very serious.
So it was
very serious.
It's fun, and hope it's a cool collection. Hope everybody checks it out.
We will.
Well,
Where can they
fuck
find
yeah.
it?
Oh, it's on Amazon.
Right.
It's a paperback and ebook. So
Cool.
lot of cool new authors in there to check out. A lot of cool stories. So
What he's saying is, go read his shit. Otherwise, we'll fucking come after you.
And we'll
hunt you down.
we'll scalp you.
You might get scalped.
You're gonna
You
no.
might get scalped.
You
I
will
don't
be.
have mannequins, but I will
You
put
will
them
be.
on something.
You're gonna.
There's a
you're gonna-
vacuum right
you're gonna
behind
get
you.
scalped.
You could put the scalp on that vacuum, make it look like a lady. Yeah, that's what I would
Make it
do.
look like a
Well,
lady.
I mean, there you go. There's
Dude looks like a lady.
sex robots. People could use vacuum.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
All right,
So there you
see,
go.
all right.
2021.
Stop
Yeah.
disturbing me when I clean my room.
That's normally what I do. That's my line. All right, no,
That is your line.
nothing for me this week. It was boring. I worked, and we're finally getting past that May slump that I feel like everybody. It wasn't just me. Apparently, everybody was feeling it. We got some shit.
May was a tough month, yeah, for some reason.
So I have this. So Ed mentioned Thirsty Thursdays, and then afterwards we can actually talk about these too, because I love this. You maggots. It's a little throwback for a nightmare for you.
Yeah, when I get mine, we gotta do a picture, and then that full
Oh, yeah.
square picture with the gatekeeper.
I got Thirsty
Absolutely.
Thursday. It's like Blue's Clues. I got Thirsty Thursdays. I got Thirsty Thursdays. Wonder what it is. Haha, it's beer. Who would have guessed? But there we go. That's a good question, man.
I don't have an eye. That's creepy.
I don't have an eye. So I actually this is gonna be my first time
Father.
trying it. It is.
Taylor's daughter.
There you go.
It is.
Taylor's daughter's fantastic.
It is little.
Oh.
It is Little
Little
Sister. Made by.
Little cry, little sister.
It's Little Sister
Very
made by
good.
Gray Sail Brewing
Gray
of
Sail.
Rhode Island.
Oh, Gray Sail's good
Newport-
stuff.
Newport.
Yes.
Yeah, very good beer.
Local
Very good
beer.
Good
So-
beer.
Very good beer.
We're gonna go ahead. Hold on. Before we say anything, we're gonna go ahead. Nice crack. First time trying it, boys. So here it goes. Little Sister, Gray Sail.
All right,
Brewing.
ready? Virtual cheers. Virtual
Virtual
cheers.
cheers, everybody. Cheers
First
to the camera.
actual Thirsty
Cheers.
Thursday
All
in
right.
a while. Cheers, everybody, and then to those at home.
Yeah, I've been drinking coffee every Thursday, so okay, this is coming off a little
good.
bit. It's getting my eyes.
That is
getting my
fucking
drink.
good,
Go
man.
for it.
That is good.
It's very good.
Again, Little
Yeah, that one's
Sister, Gray Sail Brewing of Rhode Island. Support your local brewery, everybody. This is great.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
So,
I don't have anything to plug other than well, we'll get into like hardcore plugs. I didn't do much lately. I had a long weekend last weekend, and I utilized as much of it as I could. We had a washout in New England, real bad rain for 2 or 3 days. It sucked real bad. I have a family cookout that I hold every year. Even during the pandemic last year, my family came. Everybody was cool. We were all alive. This year, most people are vaccinated now, and our restrictions were actually lifted last weekend in Rhode Island. So, like, when you go to the grocery store, nobody wears masks anymore. It's weird when you first walk in, even for somebody like me who like I have my opinions about it. But like when you walk in the first time, you're like, oh, I don't know, this is kind of we're okay. And then people give you the old like, it's good to see a smile, and then you go, oh, hey, I forgot what this thing was, So, but it is like the world's it's here, and concerts. We talk about this a lot lately.
Nature is healing,
back, man. Holy shit, yes, nature's healing. The world is coming back. We're fucking here. We have a goddamn horror show for you people that watch. That's on YouTube, and please go subscribe. We've gained a couple of subscribers every week. Somehow, Pet Cemetery has more views already than Army of Darkness has more views than I've noticed anyway.
Only like 5.
That's already, yeah, but still the fact that that's been out a week less and it's got more views.
And shout out to our Belgium homies too, because apparently people in Belgium were digging it. So
wild. Now, is that from YouTube or is that from this?
Both.
From the live stream.
Both.
Oh wow, okay. Kind of wild. Hey, awesome. And we've been getting messages from people that have been enjoying the show, which is great. Please keep sending those to us, and the Instagram. The Instagram is really the hub. I'm going to try to get more active with it and try to post up more clips from the show again. And I've just had a really couple of rough weeks. May was tough on I think everybody, and now that we're out of it, it's clear, and it's June and the summer's here. I think a lot of big things are going to happen for a lot of people. So I really do see the world kind of like really expanding and opening up, and you never know. You might get a special show soon in the next couple of weeks where all 3 guys might be in the same state.
I don't know what we're ranking about.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
I was gonna throw it out there today. Like, I'll be in town. So
last time I checked, there's a good chance where the first time I get to hug Joe and his big beautiful head in person for the first time in a long time.
1.5 years, dude.
Coming up soon. But that's okay because I get to see you every week doing this, which is fucking great. It's been helping me stay sane.
Wait.
And Joe, I have one minor crossover announcement for whoever ends up listening. My good friend Steve from the other podcast, my podcast, was
Joe doesn't have hair.
Show. Joe lost his hair. He must have got scalped. Did Frank Zito come by?
Oh shit!
Came rain from behind.
Anyway, sorry.
Son of a bitch.
I just had to right there.
Shout out to my good friend Steve, Fork Tongue from Three Dudes and Cold Brews podcast. We'll get into more plugs later on, but he's the person who gave us the idea to do this, which is our first submission, first fan submission for a show. Yep. Which went well. Also, he has an announcement for you, Joe, and you have something. Now you have something to die for.
Nice little Lamb of God right there.
Right. Hey.
All right.
Crossover. We're crossing swords, boys. We're crossing swords. You've been knocked off the pedestal for Three Dudes and Cold Brews podcast as the #1 show.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Now wait, which one? The first or the second one?
Your first episode was a long time #1 episode. Like that one was the most downloaded, the most listened to. We broke 2,000 downloads. In general, we got some like certificate or whatever from.
Jeez, I wasn't even like known or really publishing it, for Christ's sakes.
So it's been pretty wild. But the episode that took you off your pedestal and stole the crown from you.
Who congratulated?
55. Well, it's Uncle Dobby. Uncle Dobby takes it because that was when we were naming the shows, something that he would say. And this episode is called, if you want to go out and check it out, we're on all streaming platforms. Episode 55, I don't give a shit. No, I don't give a fuck. I will shit on your face. Is the #1 episode from 3 Dudes and Cold Brews.
Well, you know what? It's that title that did it. That would.
I mean, I agree, and we all know that, and we all died laughing, going, "Holy shit, that's definitely like what stole it from Joe." But wear that badge with honor.
I can't be on a golden pedestal too long, or golden temple too long.
But you were our landmark for a very long time, and very well. Here's what I'm getting at. I have a feeling we'll figure out a way to get you back on, you're gonna end up
Mhm.
taking that spot again because you have
All right.
a majestic nature about you, my friend. So
Majestic, like a unicorn killing somebody in an underground basement.
It's his
I
hair.
love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. It's the hair. It's that wavy
It
black
was.
lock that you just
That's
waved
what it
around.
was.
All
Now
right.
it's gone.
So here's what we have for you guys. It's episode 7. We,
True.
if you didn't know, are doing an OG 1980, one of the original slashers.
Too
Very
old.
underground, very low budget. Maniac, which has been redone apparently with Elijah Wood. I've never seen
True.
that. And
I
a
give it
thing,
praise.
there's a fucking, when you go to try to look up pictures to share about this movie, there's a Netflix show right now with Emma Stone and who's the fat kid that he used to be fat, the comedian kid who was in
Me.
well, no, you too. What the hell is his name?
You're still a little butterball.
What the fuck is his name? It's driving me crazy. He was in Wolf of Wall Street. He was in fucking
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill. Yeah, Jonah Hill, and it's called Maniac. So I don't know if it's like anything to do with that or not, but it's a series on Netflix.
I know you're talking about. That's supposed to be a really trippy ass show. Really trippy.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there you go. But when you go to look up what we're talking about the 1980 original, starring one Frank Zito and one of my favorite cameos of any fucking movie I've ever watched. I popped so hard because I forgot that he was in this, which we're going to get into in a little while. We all know what we're talking about. I'm hoping we all caught it because it was so fucking great, and that's one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen, literally seen. Yeah, this one it's not a very long movie. It's about an hour and 27 minutes long.
Is it the guy credited as the Disco Boy? I won't say the name.
No. Shh.
All right.
Shut up.
Which is funny. He's not even a boy. Ooh,
No,
I told you to
not
shut
even
up
close.
last time, and then now Eddie told you to shut up.
Shut it.
Then he's already in trouble.
Shut up. Don't ruin this for me. Yar, don't ruin this for me, Ben. Yeah, so we're gonna get into it. I think pretty quick tonight. I don't want to go too long. We're gonna have plugs later on. Stick around for that. Typically around the 9 o'clock mark is when we really start getting the viewers in. So I always kind of like to kill a little bit of time. And there's one thing I can do. It's bullshit. I'm a professional, and I make money professionally. So there you go. Yeah. So on with that. This is the first time both of you had ever seen the movie, right?
Yeah, I thought I've seen it, and then I'm watching. I'm like, nope, I never seen this, and that's great.
No, I've just the only thing I've seen of it is the In Search of Darkness segment on it, but they talked about it for like fucking 10 seconds. So
okay,
deserves more than 10 seconds.
Have either of you seen the remake? I've never seen it.
Yes.
Okay. You two at the end can give us a little bit of a breakdown, and
Perfect.
I would even be open to you guys giving your opinion on which one you thought was better. When we do our, I mean, a brief one.
I'll have to rewatch it for that.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it.
Maybe we can.
I haven't seen it since it came out, so all I know is that I've definitely seen it.
Okay.
It does compare kind of to the original. I won't. That's all I'll say.
Here's what we'll do then.
Right now.
Put a pin in this one. Try to remember this. This can be a callback, not a full classic versus remake episode, but maybe
we can do a separate, like part 1, part 2.
Yeah,
we'll do a separate one for YouTube. We'll try to do like a quick
like a quickie
review. Yeah.
Oh, that's quick. That's got a lot of stuff and a lot of themes.
It does.
Well, we'll do the best we can. Quickie with us, it's 45 minutes.
Another time.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll do like, I wouldn't mind doing a couple YouTube exclusives, and we'll do some of that stuff later on too. Also, the very last piece I want to say is I did talk to Steve, who was from Three Dudes and Cold Brews podcast, one of my best friends and co-hosts on that show. He is down to be, unless we get somebody before him, he is down to be our first guest. He's down to do a Friday night show, which will be a big event. We haven't done one of those since the 5th. No, third show.
Amityville's third, I think.
Which that'll be out this Friday.
So. Yeah, so that'll be out this week. So that'll be the next. We'll set one of those up the next couple weeks because I know we all have a lot going on. But that'll be hopefully a Friday night show, so we can just let loose and have a good time. And what show did he? Oh, he wants to do the Prowler. I told him.
We're doing it.
All right, cool. All right, because he's been a big proponent of that movie, and there are some people, other guests on my other show that busts his balls about that. And I've heard mixed things about the movie too. I've heard some people love it, and I've heard some people talk shit about it. So I've never seen it.
We're doing it.
So I feel like that's a perfect one. It's a classic. Steve loves it, and that would give him a good opportunity. So that'll be I'd like to schedule him as our first big event, main event guest.
It's definitely good where him slashers are not in the big franchises right now. I think it's really cool been doing that. So it's been a string of it. So
dude, the underground movies need love, man. Like people need to understand. Like I was watching Psycho. I was actually doing the last show last weekend with the Three Dudes guys. I put on Edge of the Axe so they could watch it, and they're like we're all laughing because we can't hear it while we're watching it. We listen to music while we're doing that, and like just watching it. And one of the guys was like, "Dude, like you like this kind of stuff, but like you won't like other stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, like
Yeah.
this has heart. This has soul to it. It's original. It's trying its best. It's low budget.
It tries
they
its
don't give these
best.
fucking people. They do, but I mean, like, I would rather watch 15 super low budget 80s slashers than fucking one big budget bullshit movie right now. I all day long. I just would.
True.
There's soul in it, man, and that's the same idea as like listening to music, where like a lot of nowadays production is bullshit and it's auto tuned and it's the computer rates half the fucking music and you can just put a beat together on like GarageBand and do it out of your fucking laptop in your living room. Like soul, like music from the fucking 60s, 70s, 80s, 50s had soul in it. There's imperfections when you go to listen to it. You hear like somebody hit a clam in their voice, but it sounds great because they did it right. Or you can hear somebody hit the wrong note, and that's what makes that solo on that record fucking sound so good. And that's the same. That's the parallel between music and good music, especially metal and rock and roll, and a good horror movie is there are imperfections, and that's what makes them perfect. That's what makes them amazing. That's what makes them rewatchable, and that's what gives, in my opinion, really the lifeblood of this genre, because it's very hard to see every single movie that's ever happened. But like, I'll tell you what, man, the people who love these kind of movies, like what we're about to talk about, really get this genre, like really understand, because not only will they give the fucking the Hereditaries and the fucking Conjurings a shot and talk about, or a Quiet Place, but they'll also give stuff like this, an Edge of the Axe a shot, or Wolf Cop, like I always rave about, or like you name it, man. Like the people who get underground horror movies are the lifeblood of the genre. Without them, they're rabid fans. They get it. They love it. They're the people who go to the conventions. They're the people who fucking show up in cosplay. They're the people who really get like what we're doing. So just want to throw that out there. So anybody that doesn't get that, man, like you just don't understand. So again, we're going to be bringing on my friend Steve, or AKA Fork Tongue, if you want to look him up on Instagram, which we'll give him some plugs that time. So that'll probably be the next 2 weeks or so, 1 to 2 weeks. I'd like to try to schedule that. We'll do that off air because Thursday works out really well for all of us. But if we can schedule a Friday night, it'd be fucking great to get him on. So he's the first one I'd like to. Then that's going to open the floodgates for more of those. So once we get the kinks worked out for that. So, enough of that. Let's dive into this movie now that it's just about to be 9 o'clock. I killed enough time. Holy shit. I've seen this movie once, and I watched it via Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. And when he talks about this movie, he really like gives you a perspective on this movie and how it was made. And he's really good friends with the guy who plays Frank Zito, who's apparently been in a bunch of other movies. And if you watch that episode,
Joe Spinelli, or just Spinell.
Yeah, and he wrote the screenplay too.
Yeah,
perfect.
So there's a lot of love in this movie. So if you really want to like, I suggest this to the two gentlemen that I would do the show with, and to anybody at home. I would do it this way. I would rewatch, now that I've seen it both ways, I would watch this movie by itself. It's a quick watch, about an hour and 20 minutes long. Get rid of credits. It's a fast burn. It's really quick, easy watch. And then look it up on Last Drive-In on Shudder with Joe Bob Briggs and watch him talk about it. And he extends it. It's about 2.5 hours, 2 hours when he does it, because he cuts in and talks for 5 minutes. But you'll grow a vast appreciation for what this movie is and why these movies are so amazing, because he just helps shine light on it, man. He really is a true stepping stone for a lot of these movies. So I would highly suggest watching this movie twice. Go check it out first by itself, which we're going to talk about right now, and then go from there. So watching this movie, I also watched this movie last night, and then I think Joe started watching this movie around 10 or so, right? You started watching this movie a little late. Ben, when did you watch this?
Last night at midnight.
God bless you. It's a quick break.
And then I woke up at 7:30.
What did Steve say to you, Joe?
You're gonna want to shower.
Take a shower.
Yeah, because I was trying to be a little interactive. I didn't want to be interrupted the whole movie, but like get everybody going. It's like I timed perfect that shot of the title, and we got those TV lights in the back, so I did it red like the title.
I have those too,
and I love that. I love that shot I took. And then so he's like, and I said, "Oh, here we go." And then Steve's like, "You take a shower yet?" And I was like, "Yeah, there are some really like the cinematography and the way the scenes are drawn out, and the acting, and the buildup of tension and creepiness and awkwardness and sleaziness that is in this film. You're just like, holy shit, are they gonna get to it yet? I mean, this is just not fun foreplay. It's really,
No.
I mean, as a horror fan watching a movie, yes, it is to some degree, but at the same time, it's very uncomfortable for the viewer, which it should be. That's why it's so well done. Those parts, and
It's
of course we're getting into that, but
this movie
that
starts
makes you
out
want to take a shower.
hot-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Right
movie
away.
starts out right away. Doesn't pull a single fucking punch. Like, so I mean, if we want to do it, I try to steer the ship. Again, spoiler alert for anybody that's never seen the movie.
Big time.
But trust me, you're gonna want to go back and watch this movie. As Joe nailed it and hit it on the head, and I'm glad that you brought up like cinematography, and I'll bring up the sound design. I'm a big sound design guy. You'll probably hear me say that every
80s
single
music,
show.
brother. It was perfect.
It did it right. This did it right where the edge of the axe, as much as I loved it, kind of did it wrong, you know. Yeah, so this movie did it right. It tied it in the right way, and then it had those those classic like violins going.
Yeah,
like screeching when something was going. Yes, the synth. It really blended that kind of stuff together, and really, like, even though it's tropey from the 80s slashers and stuff, but there's something about it. It just feels right, you know. And then, you know, it would get loud in some parts to try to spook you or whatever. Like these, the more and more I watch these movies, and the more I analyze them for the show, the more you realize, like, oh, like jump scares have been a thing for fucking decades.
Oh, yeah, it's just depends on they're done right or done wrong. It's
right.
Just, you know.
Right. It's not overdone like it is nowadays. Like nowadays you'll have like a long tracking shot through a hallway, and then all of a sudden, like, or like whatever, you know,
big scary thing will spook you.
Yeah, or then all of a sudden it gets really loud, and then
those long shots
is
can
fine.
work. If like Insidious
they
did a lot of
can.
those. Insidious did very
right.
well with those,
and that's why Insidious is so good. Insidious holds up really well with that. And Sinister.
I was about to say Sinister is the one that holds.
We're definitely gonna do Sinister at some point.
We can do that soon if you want. I fucking, that's one of the best movies that's come out in the last 2 decades. I mean, it's and it still holds up.
And it's scientifically proven the scariest movie.
It's so fucking scary, and I don't care how many times you've seen it. It just gets you. There's something unnerving and unsettling about that movie. It's done right. Ethan Hawke is fucking fantastic in that movie. But I don't want to rave about that movie right now. That movie,
we'll get into that.
Yeah. But yeah, Sinister's another really good one that does long, drawn-out shots, and you can see things. Hereditary does that too. Hereditary's got really long tracking shots, or like long placement shots with wide angles, and like the second time you see it, you go, "Oh shit! Was there something in the corner? Was there something like behind, you know, the kid, or like?" And you start seeing these things that you didn't see the first time. And the Witch is like that too. The Witch has really wide-angled scenes that there are things going on in those scenes. There's a reason why you're stuck watching this wide-angle scene, and you just either you understand why you're watching it or you don't. And I think that separates the people who like that movie and don't like that movie. Right. So if you dive into it and really like start analyzing the scene and seeing what's going on around the atmosphere and the environment, you'll start seeing this thing. Get back to this movie. This movie did a lot of interesting things with camera work for being a low-budget movie. This movie did a lot of interesting things again with the sound design to like get you to scare, and like it would raise in certain points, and then you'd hear like voiceover work at some points, which we're going to get into. And it starts right away with a beach scene, right? You don't know what you're expecting with this movie, right? You hear a movie called Maniac, and it's got one of the coolest fucking posters of all time. Like the artwork for this movie.
Yeah,
is fucking amazing.
that was the first big thing that stuck out for me.
It's so good. It's fucking fantastic. It's very good. And what's funny is I think Amazon, if Ben can look it up really quick, I think the title on Amazon, like the description is like the best worst movie of all time or something along those lines. It was rated as one time, and I'm like, I don't see how that's possible, but like back then, I guess because it was 1980, so it wasn't quite the loved.
Can I throw a name with you a little quick to bounce off you real quick? So that could be because of like it fell right into, you know, like horror always have those moments, certain movies have those moments where they challenge the audience, and then it causes the exploitation or the snuff film thing. So this is before Friday 13th. Now Friday 13th we know caused the whole thing of like, oh my God, it's a snuff film because of how realistic the kills were. Right. With this, they felt it was more exploitation because of the violence against women in this movie, which I'm not surprised they would do that with this, because this is right in the era of the buildup of serial killers. I'll go into those later, which ones I've seen and noted, but
oh yeah, this was a nod to a lot of the
this is what I wrote because I was doing my research. Like, United States had the Satanic Panic, United Kingdom had the Video Nasty Panic.
Yeah.
So they would actually have police like confiscate like videotapes, and they had to like check it out first before they allow the public, and then that's where they're like, oh no, this is not allowed in our country or our cities. Mainly Manchester and Lancashire. Did I say that right?
I
So
think you did.
yeah, so that a lot of low budget horror movies went through that. The press hit it, social commentators hit it, various religious organizations, of course, hit it. So yeah, I wanted to bounce off you with that real quick.
No, I'm glad you did because back then it was different. They looked at movies like this a little bit different than what they do now. Nowadays, this movie would be essentially a joke. It would be like fucking pushed aside and like almost laughed
People would
at the
hate
way
this.
it's done.
Yeah, and be like,
It depends. It depends. A lot of people still have issues with the violence. It all depends.
So
I mean, there isn't a lot of stuff with excessive violence in it. There is, but
I mean, put it this way: the movies like this need to exist, whether it's a blip in time or not. But it's the fear of this was real back then because stuff like this happened back then. It's not like it is now, where everybody in the neighborhood has a Ring camera on their front door and can fucking like watch things. Back then,
they can,
like,
but stuff still happens. We still get reports.
There wasn't cell phones back then. There weren't fucking easily accessible payphones back then. Like the world was a different place back then, especially in New York. Like where this movie takes place, New York was fucking bad. It was
brutal.
Look up any article you want, anybody that you'll ever fucking like, any documentary you ever want about New York City. New York City was horrible. Like it was
true.
It was almost like unvisitable. Like it wasn't like that for a long time, and now it's.
I enjoy Brooklyn. I've been in Brooklyn and Manhattan. I enjoy it.
Now. Yeah, now.
Right.
Yeah, now.
Well,
now that it's been gentrified and fucking cleaned up, and now you can actually walk through there and have a good time. 30 years ago.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
30 years ago. It was you couldn't walk down one of those streets without getting mugged or shot or fucking raped or killed. Like it's true. It is what it is. I mean, and then look at all the movies that took place in the 80s in general. Like, don't even look at fucking Coming to America, comedy movie. Look at how they talk about how people rob them. Like they make jokes about getting robbed. They make jokes about people throwing trash in the street. They make jokes. So that's really how the fucking thing works.
Then again, a movie just recently kind of touched upon it. Granted, it's not New York, but it was filmed in New York, and the city is realistically based off of New York with Joker. So Joker is, it shows. Even though that was
that modern day though?
No, that was in the 80s.
That was set back around this time,
yeah, in late 70s, early 80s. But Gotham City is realistically, supposed to be based off of New York. People are definitely gonna correct me because I'm probably wrong. But
no, you're right.
No. There's actually a part of I think the 5 boroughs where it's like a subset, like how we have Apponaug and Warwick. Well, there's a part actually called Gotham.
Well,
there really is like a part called Gotham.
Well, at least with Joker, it was filmed in New York. At least parts of it. I know, obviously, that you're gonna have stuff in sound stages based off in fucking California, but like the epic stair scene, that's in the Bronx. Like, and people still get mugged there all the time. My buddy who was from the Bronx said that they either had to put a sign there that said like, "Don't come around here and do the epic Joker thing." Or they had to have cops go there all the time because people would do the Joker dance and like how he's like doing this on the stairs, and then people would get mugged.
The YouTubers.
Yeah, and then people would get mugged.
Or the TikTokers.
Yeah, they are TikToks.
And you know what's cool?
Shout out to my main mommies.
Let's jump to that real quick. Since we're talking about cinematography, that's what's interesting. Is we were raised on movies that portrayed New York like that, and I think we really. I never had a fear for New York, but I had a certain like dark appreciation for that capture of it, and I think that's what I really love about again what we did with the other two previous movies with Edge of the Axe and Poughkeepsie tapes. Again, that bird's eye view. You got Poughkeepsie tapes. You got that rural woods town, and then you got another rural woods town with Edge of the Axe, and almost 2 different versions. And then we do that with the city, and then with
it's different,
and there's that grime and that darkness to it. Times Square on that time.
You said a perfect word earlier that describes it the best. I mean, this point in time, in real life, felt sleazy. There really were prostitutes like just chilling like that.
Hell yeah!
Were, like, rent by the hour hotel rooms. There really were fucking drugs on every corner, like with
Fuck
ease.
yeah.
There really were people getting fucking mugged and raped.
And
And
which is
killed.
why
Like,
I wore the
Oh,
shirt.
ooh, not hell yeah on that part.
yeah, but it's that kind of stuff, like, and it felt
The album, I mean,
sleazy.
sorry.
And I'll be honest, I mean, even now, I grew up really really fast, so I kind of went to, like, we have a downtown part in our Rhode Island, called Providence, right? So at one point, Providence was no
Even
good, man. I
Providence
mean,
got
there
better
were
too. Yeah.
downtown Providence. Now it's a fucking joke. Now, like, you can do whatever the fuck you want in that city, and like nothing will ever happen to you, which is good. I'm glad that I got cleaned up. It sucks for, like, the music scene, and it sucks for, like, the punk rock and hardcore and metal scene, and like that world, because they pushed out all the fucking venues that would have brought in, like, that underground style music. But the city is very cleaned up now, but again, it's gentrified, like, meaning, look, if you don't know what that means, look it up. But it's just, it was once one thing, now it's another thing, because people come in with money and change it. And it's awesome that it was cleaned up.
Philly is like
But
that too.
yeah, Philly's another one. Philly is another big city that had a terrible reputation at one point, and it's now go there, and it's just not the same. But those big cities had that reputation. So if you'd ever been to one of those when you were young, when it was still like that, like, I went to Providence a couple times when I was young for concerts, and I remember, like, having to run from people. Like, I remember having to, like literally dive down fucking dark alleys and figure out a way to, like, jump up fucking walls and go into fucking parking garages where there were cameras, so people couldn't fucking chase you and jump you. And, like, I've had to run from people a lot of times. And it is what it is. Like, if you've seen that in real life, people don't have that problem anymore. It's just not the same as what it was. So I think that's where this appreciation for
Depends
this
on the areas, unfortunately. There are some areas that get hit hard by it,
There are, but what I'm getting at, though, is, as a whole, realistically, people don't want to admit this, but it's safer now. We are in a safer time than we've ever been in all of humanity. People don't realize that. We just hear more of it way faster, because before, we didn't have a little ticker going across every single screen, or on YouTube or Facebook or whatever else that you're attached to, telling you when something happened. Back then, you had 3 TV channels, and you had to tune into it at a specific time to get the news. So you didn't hear about all the things that were going on, if you could even hear about it at all, because me and Rhode Island wouldn't hear about something that happened in New York City unless it was big. Like, unless
you're going into a media
rant
again.
No, but it fits into why, like, things like this, I think, kind of, like, lose their. Right. I feel like there are, like, generational, like, gaps with movies like this. Like, I feel like anybody that had to grow up around a city or ever dealt with a situation where
that's an interesting thing throughout the generational gap with, like, how you see.
That's what I was getting
to.
It's
film, Yeah. Yeah, Midnight Meat Train pulls a different version of New York. It's still some dangers in it, but not like how it was in the 80s. But Midnight Meat Train was filmed, 2008, and it still had it still showed the underbelly.
It was right before it was right before the boom of, like, internet everywhere and cell phone everywhere. Like, that was still when, like, Nokia, you could get the Nokia phone with, like, a snake on it, so, like, motherfuckers could call 911. Good luck your phone having service. Like, now everybody in the world has 5G, and, like, you can't go anywhere without it.
But what they do about the Cthulhu creatures down there in the subway train in real life?
Well,
you don't mess with old city, older city.
And then Vinny, what the fuck is his name? Vinny.
Zito?
Oh, no, the guy, whatever, the guy from the Midnight Meat Train.
Oh, now I'm having a moment.
It's the British guy. Vinny Jones.
Vinny Jones, yes.
The Juggernaut from X3.
On the Juggernaut,
the Juggernaut, bitch. Anyway.
Yeah, he's great. He's also very good. If you've never seen, you want to see a good, like, borderline horror movie or a thriller, The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the lead role. He's
in that
really
movie.
Good. He's a fucking scumbag.
Makes you think of Ice-T surviving the game.
Yeah, that movie's so good. Oh, that's a good one. And also the Ray Liotta movie, No Escape, when he's on a fucking prison island. That's another good one. A lot of people, that's super, like, underground. You can't find that movie fucking anywhere. Or Escape from New York.
I like Law Abiding Citizen.
That's not what we're talking about. Not even close to what we're talking about.
I like
we're
that.
talking, like, or fucking Battle Royale. Battle Royale is another good one that's like that. The Japanese movie.
I still gotta see those.
It's so good.
I suck.
So good.
That and the Warriors. I still gotta see. Now, what do you think of the kill scenes? What do you think of the kill scenes on the beach?
Well, all right. Let's get back to the movie. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for getting me off my rant. We're 14 minutes into the fucking actual show now. I appreciate it. So, goes into the beach scene, which I can't tell. Like, watching it, it just looks like your stereotypical, like, POV, a couple on the beach, which I found the beach to look absolutely clean and amazing back then. Which, good luck going to a beach and seeing it nowadays.
Yeah, I was right. I was like, oh, what the fuck?
But it was so nice to see it and serene. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. I wonder what the fuck that is.
It's so beautiful.
No, we're around here. That's for sure. But yeah, so like this dude and this chick are laying on the beach, and like the girl says, "Oh, I'm cold. Let me go get some. I'll go get some wood for you, or whatever." She disappears. Killer POV style goes over, rubs her back. Oh, thanks for going and get me wood. And then he fucking just
Got her wood.
he got her some wood, all right, mutilates her. Then it turns out, I don't know, is that a dream sequence or is that
Maybe
I
it's
don't know,
just.
because it goes
I
right
think
into
it's more so him remembering it, like he.
I think so because he has a few of
or
those.
is that him imagining things? He's got a lot of things in this movie, which we're going to touch on later on. The final scene being the biggest one that reveals that a lot of these kills were just him dreaming. So a lot of these kills aren't real.
No, that's not
I don't
what
know
it
if
is.
they're,
I'll get to that. What that is. That's definitely not what it is.
but I think I said that wrong because as soon as I said it, I went fuck. But
Because I would
I'm
hate
not
this
saying
movie.
they're not
That was
real.
the fact. I would hate it.
Yeah, he had a false reality on the way some things happened.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay,
I
which is
I
a
was
good way
looking
to
out
put
for the
it.
news on those two couples. On those couples, I don't remember if we saw any news on a couple getting killed in the beach because those news on always killings, but I don't remember the beach one. That's the only thing I'm trying to.
That's why I think this one was a dream
Yeah.
sequence. I think he was just
Yeah.
imagining something. I really do.
It could be.
I could be
Mommy.
wrong, but it felt like one because he
It
wakes
was.
up and all of a sudden in like a panic, and then it's a long shot of him getting ready to go out and do his first real kill, which
Yeah.
we're gonna get into in a second. So
I'll go quick
yeah, so
on the beach scene.
go ahead, please do.
We'll just throw it in there real quick. Yeah, I
No,
mean the
you're
kills
good.
were effective. They're pretty
I love when you
brutal
throw it in quick.
and real quick and like in and out.
Nice.
And
In and out. Just the tip.
I was
Nice.
saying, and here's one serial killer I noticed in this one. This reminded me of the Zodiac killer. Instead of a couple on the beach, the Zodiac killer got a couple that was on a picnic, and then because I think he had a mask on too. There's only time he had a mask on. I couldn't tell it was so quick when he was holding the guy up, with the wire.
Which was kind of crazy. That scene was kind of weird because like the dude's feet are fucking going. They look like they're in like fast motion or like sped up, but then all of a sudden they just stop. It was that was a weird scene. It was a good kill scene, but a weird scene. Just that whole I don't know. The whole scene was really odd. And that's the only scene that looked like that.
I think I was about to say that's I think that's the only kill scene that really stands out. Like not stands out. Before I say that, it
yeah, I know what you meant.
It's different than the other ones. Yeah.
That's another reason why I think that was a dream sequence.
That's a good point.
I feel like they felt like a same theme in some ways, but
all the
this
other
one
ones
was
had
different.
some kind of a tie into the others, whether it was a close-up angle at a long shot of somebody breathing, or a spike in violin sounds or whatever.
This is the one that
didn't
was
have any of
different.
that. I mean, it did, but it wasn't the way. It wasn't set up like the other ones were. None of the other kill scenes were afraid to show Frank killing somebody. This is the only one where he's kind of like
true,
hidden. So like I feel like I really do feel, and not for nothing, man. Like where the fuck in New York City is that beach? I mean, I don't know New York incredibly well, but where the fuck in New York City is that beach? Every other
and where do I go to it?
There are beaches in Long Island, but I don't think that's it. That's too far.
Right. But to go to fucking Long Island, as far as I know, from where this dude lives, is hours. Like people think that everything's in like a 2-mile radius in New York. It's not. Like to go to certain parts of Staten Island, like it's fucking hours sometimes. Or like what is it, the Hamptons, right? Like the Hamptons are literally, it's like going to the Cape.
It's all like another world. It's wild.
Yeah, well, it's literally like the Cape or P-Town from fucking Rhode Island. It's like 3 hours. But it's because you're going way out of there's one road that gets there, and then one road back, and then if you get stuck in traffic, it's that much longer. So like we have, because we're coastal in the Northeast, we've seen stuff like that. But like either way, my point is like I just don't think that this was a familiar place to where he is living wise. You know what I mean? I think this is the only scene that starts off with like a dream sequence. And then immediately it shows him wake up and kind of like get ready for again his first kill, right? Like this movie doesn't hold back. Again, it starts right away with a couple getting killed on a beach. And then, but it does change paces really quick. Again, it changes right away to the next scene, like the dream scene that's I even wrote that. That actually opens up the movie. There's a long shot of the Maniac getting ready to hunt.
And that's what's really impressive with this. Like you just said, I want with like the way it switches. Like it's going fast paced, but it does switch paces at the same time. Like it really moves very quick. But like it's just like. And his character changes each time too, and then we'll go ahead.
Well, there's a lot of psychosis with this movie, and there's a lot of mental health in this movie, mental health issues, which goes into play with a lot of slash movies. But this one, like This one really dives into it more than what a lot of movies back then did. A lot of movies didn't go into things.
Dives
like
into it like an
psychosis.
actual serial killer movie.
Yeah, it really does.
Like before Hannibal
more...
Lecter, before Manhunter.
Correct.
Yeah. In similarities to that, it kind of what Joe's saying. It kind of reminded me of Henry, the Portrait of a Serial Killer. That's exactly.
I was trying to remember.
That was the thing that was the comparison that I was kind of drawing to. And granted, Henry came out afterwards, but because I think that was like 86, whatever. But I think that was just like you said. That's like an actual serial killer thing. The other thing I want to point out: were there any scalps at that point when he first wakes up and like? That's what I was trying to remember because I know like he just had the
no, hold on, that we see no.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
because normally they point to it, you'd see them afterwards.
Yeah, after he killed somebody. That's another reason why I don't think that this was one that he actually did. I think this was like a weird dream sequence, and this is trying to set you up for like maybe that's what he's attaining for. I don't know. I don't want to get too.
He's kind of like psyching himself up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. So. Either way, it goes into him the next scene, and then he's getting ready for his nighttime prowl or whatever, and you can see
nighttime prowl.
They put more.
Good.
They put more emphasis on like
my dog
watching
jokes
him
me
get
back
ready,
today.
which is surprising to me. You know, like a lot of the time, again, this is where the long shots kind of come into. And then he puts his outfit on, he puts his fucking cap on and his glasses.
See him in his nice tidy whites.
Kind of a his tidy whities. And then he's kind of he's kind of a sleazeball, kind of gross, kind of pockmarked face, and it's he doesn't look like he's the cleanliest fella, and he's in a typical, from what I've seen, New York apartment, kind of looks like a basement, like an efficiency room, not much to it.
4th floor basement.
Then, yeah, exactly. And then he fucking no, he's in a basement, isn't he? Doesn't he drag the body into a basement? Or
I don't remember that part.
I thought his apartment.
Maybe his probably. I think you're right. Yeah.
When he walks by the lady after the first kill with what you think is a dead body, and it turns out to be a mannequin in the plastic bag. She's like, "Oh, hey, Frank, are you doing like Christmas shopping?" Yup. Like, and he walks by with a big bag. I'm pretty sure he goes downstairs. I could be wrong though. I thought that.
I think you're right.
I think you're definitely right.
It's almost like a studio type apartment.
It's like an efficiency. It's a basement efficiency apartment. And then at the end, spoiler alert, there's a pop scene where they bust into a thing, and then you can see them walk upstairs at the end when they shut the door. But,
that's right.
So, Joe, all I'm saying is where you are right now could be where Frank Zito is, because you're in a basement. You're welcome.
Or there
could be mannequins. I have a wig, but I don't have any mannequins.
Oh, but what about dead bodies?
Doesn't mean you won't get scalped, motherfucker.
Not yet.
Oh, true.
Nice. Good call. Good point. Good choice. He hasn't figured out the right batch.
It's a little quiet here. We need to start getting like a good Philly serial killer. No, I'm kidding. I'm not even. Do not put that out there.
It's okay. You're more than welcome to.
That's where we always say allegedly. Allegedly. It's all. He's talking about being a serial killer in Minecraft. It's all in Minecraft.
Oh, I'll talk about killing motherfuckers right now. If you
in Minecraft.
I'll give you a list of them. We'll do it for you. So anyways, with that being said, my fucking fingerprint reader isn't working on my notes phone.
My notes phone.
All right, there we go. I have 2 phones. I record on one and then have another.
Yeah, that's me too.
Anyways, it's kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
Then I put he happens to walk by old Purple Hot Pants, and she talks him into getting the old a room.
How do you know my nickname?
I'll tell you, for a lady that just came out of the 70s. Attractive lady. I'm just gonna throw that.
I thought the same thing.
Old Purple Hot Pants talking to the other prostitute about how she needs to turn one more trick to make her rent.
To make her rent, man.
Again, like a classic sleaze.
She had a full menu.
She did have a full menu. She's going through the whole thing. I'm pretty sure she offered him the ring dinger. I'm pretty sure she's offered him.
I ain't writing this down, and you guys get all the crazy terminology she has. Like, holy crap!
I'm only kidding. She didn't offer. I don't know what the fuck she offered him, other than
a fizzy lifting drink, and then the ultimate.
Yeah.
Excuse me, the ultimate. The ultimate.
The ultimate was the one I remember.
Is that $100, man? It takes it for an ultimate ride.
$100.
By the way,
I'll tell you,
that's a bad deal for
second time. Hold on, second time in 2 movies, the girl was offered $100 for their going rate.
True, that's a good point.
Wait,
Rita, the fucking Austrian death machine.
A
hooker from the last movie that got killed by the train station.
That's right.
Her going rate was $100 also.
That's too rich for my blood.
Yeah, and then the train conductor, the inspector there was like, "Oh, that's too rich for my blood." What the fuck he said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 movies in a row. So the 80s was a cheap fucking era, man. God
Yeah,
damn.
man.
Nowadays,
I grew up in the
you're
wrong
not even
time period.
getting fucking feet pics for $100. You know what I'm saying? Fucking internet. Anyways,
Deprived.
Yeah, no. By the way, like Frank had to pay so much money just to fucking kill a lady, and I say that with peace and love because
but
he
he got
He
a
didn't really
refund because
pay.
she didn't put out the ultimate. You know what I mean?
excuse
He used
you.
the money as a tease.
No, he still had to pay for the hotel, which is about $35 plus tax.
Yeah, that was a
True.
Bullshit.
You want to sleaze that dude
Hold
at the counter.
Don't forget about that $5 for the color TV.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. That's that.
Yep. He's like,
That's
what? You don't want to spring the extra $5 for the color
For
TV?
the color
And then he looks at
TV,
the
and he looks at the lady.
prostitute, all purple
That's
pants,
wild.
and he goes, and then he puts down a different, like a 20 or something.
Yeah, he takes
back
something
a 10.
back.
wild.
He takes
And then
back
the guy
10%
goes,
on 20
oh, that'll be $35 plus tax.
plus
And he
tax.
goes, and then puts down what he just took away. So they worked him. They got him. They fucking honey dicked him. They got him in the door. They were gonna get theirs. That's And then my favorite line from that was when the clerk looks at him after he's walking away and goes, "Hey, are you staying for the continental breakfast?" Come on, continental breakfast is a fucking shitty mini box of cereal and a fucking wrapped up bullshit muffin.
I like continental breakfast, but I wouldn't get it from that place.
No,
I would.
But that's why it's funny.
Probably like a banana. Good source of potassium.
It's a banana. It's probably a fucking
$2 for one bit, $2 for the other half.
Yeah,
oh,
fucking gross.
True.
Yuck. Yeah,
Well, you're watching the color TV for $5.
But that's all I'm saying is
fucking
he had to pay a lot of money to kill a lady, and
he did.
He could have done it for free somewhere else.
Well,
here's the first plot hole. The one plot hole I'll throw out there, because as much as I'm gonna rave about this movie in a little while, because I really do love this movie.
Spoilers.
How to get the body out? How to get the body out? There's only one entrance. What do you do? Go down the fire escape? That's the one thing you notice about this movie. I'm gonna throw this
And
out
no
there.
one
Before we
heard.
how he kills her.
No one heard
How to
it.
get the body out of it?
well, I agree with you on that, but I mean, also, I'm.
Or did he leave the body? I don't remember them. Whether
No,
No, he takes it.
No, wait a minute. So, I'm gonna jump ahead only to answer this, and this is from because I did a little research because I was a little confused. I think he leaves the body, but he takes.
Okay, that makes sense.
He takes the scalp, but he also takes the clothes.
scalp.
He dresses the mannequin.
Oh,
in his
that's
victim's
right. Okay,
Items.
okay, you're right. So no,
So he
it's
doesn't
not a
leave the
plot
body.
hole. You're right. I
Because that
forgot
way,
about that.
that's the way that's why you get in the
obsessed.
news. Oh, this person, the sex
Yes,
worker was
good call.
killed, and then he has the
call.
items as his trophies.
Yep. And obviously, in a seedy place like that, they're not going to have cameras or anything, especially in the 1980s. So you're not going to fucking.
And then
see
also
blood,
the
he had
sleazeball.
glasses on,
The sleazeball
yeah,
definitely
good call.
was not paying attention to the guy at all.
That sleazeball wouldn't have a camera,
Good
even if
call.
they did have.
Yeah,
one.
he didn't care. But
So, yeah,
my thing
good
was
call.
no
Good
one
call.
heard.
I'm
No
glad
one
you-
heard her at all.
Well, in a place like that, who knows? They could be on the fourth floor. They could be on the 8th floor. They could be fucking nobody's paying attention. Maybe
Right.
she screams like that for. Maybe that's part of the ultimate. Maybe you're fucking playing role play.
I gotta say,
That's
this
her
is
favorite
one of those
room.
scenes where Steve was saying, you take a shower yet, because this is when they start dragging it out. When you see usual slashers, they kick in. You get a little interaction between the character and the sex worker.
Oh yeah,
and
when
the
he
death scene.
fucking just
But
chokes her for 20 minutes.
Not even just
and
that, just like
fucking-
before that, the way he's just like, the way
Yeah.
he wants her to dance for him, the way he wants her to keep her clothes on,
Yes.
the way he's this. It's almost like you're seeing
You
his
feel like
personality.
dirty. Yeah. You
It's
feel,
just-
and it feels real. Like that's how
The way he teases
that's
with the
how it
money,
feels-
it's just like I'm
yeah.
like, oh God, what is this?
You-
Is
well,
this scene still going?
it feels real. And it's I don't know what's
it
worse.
is.
This or like one of those like a rape, like a long rape scene in like a Last House on the Left or
Like
you know what I mean?
Deliverance or something.
Those
Yeah.
are bad and they're
Unrated
uncomfortable.
version.
Like
No, thank
this,
you.
Yeah, this is uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like because you know this girl's in danger. She doesn't realize she's in danger because this is her job, unfortunately.
No, she thinks he's just some
And- Yeah.
client playing games with her for the money.
Just a
and
fucking another because a lot of people are fucking weird, and back then they didn't have quite the perversions. I mean, everybody's got perversions, but the perversions were different than they were nowadays. So it's just a fucking different time. And for him to be like, "Oh, you don't even have to get naked," I'm sure she goes,
Hell
"Easy
yeah.
money."
I mean,
Oh, so
I
what do
don't,
we have to
I don't
do?
know. I don't want to know
Like,
anybody's kink today from back then.
No, but you're right about all that. With that whole scene is really unnerving, and it is long and kind of stretched out, but it's stretched out for a reason. It's stretched out to make you kind of go, ugh, like when is it going to happen? Clearly, they're not hiding the fact that this guy's a fucking creep. They do not hide his face. They don't hide it. Like they show you who he is.
His
like,
very sweaty
that's
face.
what's impressive about this movie.
And it's amazing character development.
Yeah, I agree. Because at this point, you just know that he's a little off, you know that he's a little odd, and then all of a sudden now he's gonna kill her. And the whole strangling scene lasted longer than what I would have liked to because of my brain. That felt like a plot hole because you're like, oh, he's way bigger than this girl. If he really wanted to, he could. And she's like screaming. And let me tell you something: if you're a big guy is holding a woman's neck like that, she's not screaming like that. Like it just isn't gonna happen.
I mean, maybe it's just the way they filmed it. They could have did it better. Where he could have been like, he could have let go to like enjoy it and then choked her again. You know.
That's and I almost just said I'd like to think, but I don't want to think about anything fucking with a woman getting choked out. But
you're right. You're right.
But you said
for
what
the context of the movie. I mean,
for the context of the movie, thank you for the we're gonna have to do that a lot in this movie because for the context of the movie, being like fans of horror, you'd like to think that they were like that was designed to make him like drawing it out.
Tapes.
Yeah, right. Like, so maybe that had a little rub off.
We're gonna be talking like if O.J. Simpson did it.
Yeah, it's designed like the way.
You've never read his book?
In his book he goes,
if I did it,
I didn't kill nobody. But if I did it,
that's what I meant. I'm
in a fucking book.
Yeah,
because it's clear. He got cleared.
About that.
That's real life. Go check it out. OJ's book, real thing, real.
Yeah,
life.
shout out OJ Simpson.
He makes on Twitter. He makes
buy
fucking
his book. Capitalism Wins.
Yeah. He makes fucking like stab jokes on fucking Twitter all the time when he makes
and he goes and he just shit like that.
He's a lunatic.
He's awesome.
Hey, all you Twitter.
He's a maniac.
How you doing?
Hey, you Twitter world. Anyway. It's Juice.
Not only do they mess with you with the choking scene, they go to the
scalping scene, or I would imagine that's where you're going, and that's where you see. Granted, now this is where the effects are. I love them because they're cheesy, but holy shit, are they good? But they're fucking. But they're not like, oh my god, how do you watch that? But it's like, I love it, man. I love how fucking like over the top these effects are. They're so fun,
and I feel like
they really do. They ease the pressure of what we just watched. You know, it makes it a little bit less.
I feel like there's like some sort of I feel like there's some sort of appeal to like watching her like it's like when like the thing's about to go over her eyes and like you see her do this like with her eyeballs like kind of like blink a lot like you can
appeal. What appeal?
Like it's charming. Not
okay. Now we know a lot about that.
You want my wig? Because I think you needed one.
Never mind.
I know. Ben also needs to preface his words with
those little
demons
from Silent Hill killing people.
Yeah. So no, but I know what he means by that. Yeah. So the appeal of for the
charming
sake of the horror movie.
I
wouldn't call it charming.
No, I know. I was just teasing you.
In Minecraft, meaning, it's all in Minecraft.
Yeah, charming for a horror movie.
I'm fired up today.
You're good. We all are. It's a thirsty Thursday, and I'm glad that we're all sipping because it does make it a little bit more fun. So I would put then I put really quick because we're an hour in already, but let's keep this one rolling. I put this dude plays such an amazing creep with asking her to model for him, and then he chokes her out and all that fun stuff. And the scalp happens. But what's the next scene? It's setting up some more like this is where it starts really setting up the mental illness part of it, where there's like an inner monologue scene when he's laying out the mannequin and he's dressing it up with that woman's clothes. And then you realize, like, oh, this is what he does. He's talking to himself a lot. And then at first he was talking to himself. He was actually verbally speaking. And then after that, he kind of starts going into like an inner monologue where you can hear his brain going like almost like arguing with a mom or a mother figure. Like he's like, no, don't do that. No,
we did see scars on him beginning the movie too.
Yeah, at the very beginning of the movie, he is like grabbing his tits and he's when he's getting ready to go hunt this lady down. And he's got like scars around his like stab wounds around his chest area and who knows what else he's got. So there's definitely some torture.
I was dumb and I thought that was from his victims trying to defend themselves. That's where I realized it afterwards at the end when they actually fully just go, here you go kind of thing. But in my head
that's well, I mean, like again, into actual serial killer lore, if you look up like Ed Gein, for instance, who's the guy who like based
you stole the line, but I'm glad you did because I have to say it. I said Ed Gein, Ted Bundy, and then Son of Sam later I put down.
Well, yeah, but the problem with Ted Bundy and Son of Sam wasn't until 80-something, 86 or 87, so that wasn't even a thing yet. But
no, the guy who directed it, he was inspired by Son of Sam. So Son of Sam happened.
So that was
late
70s. Late 70s. You're right. Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm thinking of Berkowitz.
Fake news here, buddy.
No. I'm thinking of Berkowitz. I'm thinking of fucking David. I'm thinking of him, and I'm thinking of who the fuck is Ramirez. Ramirez was late 80s.
Yeah, he was like he was part of the Satanic Panic thing because he fed off that.
I'm thinking of Ramirez. My fault, man. Wow, it's been a while, and I'm good about this. I know my shit about this stuff, so I'm glad that Berkowitz is Son of Sam, but yeah, you're right. So Son of Sam Killer, you're right, he was late 70s.
And then Ed Gein was the mother.
Yeah, Ed Gein was.
Mannequin's very Ed Gein.
But there's another one that's like that too. My God, what the fuck is it? There's another one where like the mom would keep the kid in the closet, and like that would like
Harry Potter.
Puberty, no. And I don't mean like as soon as the boy hit puberty, she would lock him in a closet so he wouldn't touch himself and shit. Like
I think that was Ed Gein.
There might have been, but there was another one that was more like fucking. I think it was the Hillside Strangler, whoever that is.
Oh, maybe. DeSalvo? Yeah, I don't know much about Hillside.
Look up. I think it's Richard DeSalvo.
Okay.
If you look that guy up, I'm pretty sure that's the one. Something along those lines, but not like I'm a fucking. I used to have the encyclopedia on serial killers when I was a kid. So when
you mean about 14. Albert DeSalvo?
Yeah, Albert DeSalvo. Yeah. Thank you.
He was the guy from Boston.
Yes. Boston Strangler. Strangler. Then there was the Hillside
Boston Strangler. Yep.
Guys.
The murder of 13 women in the Boston area from 1962. Mm-hmm. Holy shit. 62 to 64. Yeah. God damn, he killed a lot of bitches.
Well, Ed Gein was 40s and 50s, I think. That was
he was in the 50s.
Before.
Yeah.
He inspired a lot of horror comics before he inspired Leatherface.
He inspired fucking Leatherface. He inspired Buffalo Bill from fucking Silence of the Lambs. He's inspired a ton of fucking Psycho. Yep. He's the catalyst.
I mean, even stuff today is like Ed Gein inspired. I mean, that is one of the most hated and loved serial killer within the horror genre because of the inspiration of his mentality and his art and just his art.
There was a lot to him.
Yeah.
No, but there was a lot to unpack. He when they broke into his house. Ready, history lesson for people who don't know about Ed Gein. Mm-hmm. When they finally caught him and they
skull balls.
They had skull balls. They had bone lamps. They had skin lampshades over the fucking bone.
He wore the skin of his victims.
Yep, he made a drum out of fucking a woman's skin and he would wear the suit
American Horror Story season 2.
Yep, he would wear the suit of a woman that he made just like Buffalo Bill. That's where they got that from. Mm-hmm. He made an actual suit out of a woman's skin. He would wear it in the moonlight and beat on his skin drum with
Mudvayne, great song.
So
based on that.
I did a book report on Ed Gein back in 8th grade. So,
oh my God, I'm kind of jealous.
I was that guy, Joe.
Dude, that guy.
I love the Ed Gein movie with Kane Hodder in it too.
This is why we are the way we are.
Hey, you're welcome. And all this comes out of us talking about a shitty 80s slasher movie. Yep. The best, worst movie of all time. It's not a
great line, by the way, while he's dressing up his mannequins and he's talking to himself. There's only one line I wrote down was, "Beauty is a crime punishable by death."
I like that. I didn't hear that.
You can't get any more traumatized serial killer than that.
No, he was, I think, again, me typing notes out, what I did this time was I tried to just watch the movie because I'd already seen it once. And I wrote out a bunch of notes. I lost my fucking internet at one point last night, and I wrote out half the movie's notes off of memory. So I didn't write that down because I didn't see that part of it. Well, I don't remember seeing that part of it, but I remember him talking a bunch and then kind of just being like, "What the fuck?" Mm-hmm. I forgot about how much he talks to himself in that part of it.
Yeah.
And my brain was just starting to cycle through all the serial killers that I know that he might have been based off of. So
yeah, I'm gonna throw that out real quick to the next scene, just to throw out there. You just get, because I don't want to keep it moving. The next scene has got a lot of Son of Sam, a lot of the Town That Dreaded Sundown, and also Zodiac Killer. And now I'm gonna shut up.
Good. Hey, all good references. Joe, I'm impressed.
I don't mess around with this shit.
We're impressive. We're impressive.
Virtually terrifying, but yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Ben, you're welcome. This is what your brother. You were playing video games in your diapers. I was reading about Ed Gein.
So you mean today?
Yeah, no. So yeah, exactly. You and your Pampers. Then I put. Let's see here. Let's move on a little bit more. So odd inner monologue. I put packs up a double barrel in a violin case. This fucking Desperado. I mean,
I was thinking Desperado.
As soon as I saw that happen, I was like, okay, that's interesting. And but what I liked about that scene is, what I liked about that scene is how sporadic he's moving. He doesn't perfectly place anything in the case. He's constantly adjusting it, and you can tell he's unnerved and unsettled. And a lot of people, you might not even realize that kind of stuff, but watching him act in this movie, he really is doing a great job
He's
of being a crazy person. More than like a killer. He's a crazy person. He's a mentally ill person.
well,
In
he's
the
very
fucking
strict.
late 70s, early 80s.
He's very he's unorganized. He's very strategic.
Yeah. He's well planned out, well thought out. And there's different styles to all of his kills too, which we're gonna
Yeah.
start getting into. It's
Which
not just like, oh, let me go get a hooker and kill her. It's also like, oh, where this ends up going is where we're all gonna have the fucking best part. And then here comes the fucking cameo of the fucking century. Mr. One, Tom
Savini,
who also did
boys.
all the
Who
fucking,
did the special effects for this movie?
thank you, Joe. But
He's
I
credited
also
as
worked on a
Disco Boy.
special. Thank you. I did not know
He's
that,
not
but
even
I'm glad you
a boy.
know.
That's why I said it at the
He's not even
beginning,
close
and
to being
I
a boy.
was told to shut up.
Well, we were waiting for this moment, Ben. We gotta wait for the big reveal. God damn it. Showmanship. Speaking of which,
Damn it, Ben.
I also wrote Joe.
Uh-huh.
Joe.
Let's do it.
I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready for this one. These are my
Go on.
notes.
Blew my mind.
I
Like a
put
shotgun
here comes
blast.
Tom and here comes Tom Savini, and let freedom ring with a shotgun blast.
Yes, you did it. You did it. You did the machine head. That's amazing.
Got to do the Machine Head. Got to
Oh
shout out
my
my
God.
boy and one of his favorite bands. So
Yes.
gotta love that. I don't remember the name of that song ever, but I know that I know it
Davidian,
when I
which
fuck-
is actually
Davidian.
about the
Thank you.
Davidian situation. Situation.
Oh shit, no kidding.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Waco too. When I was early
That's
on in wrestling, I was
Shout out
Can
Waco.
Can we put that? I'm a big fan of Waco.
Did we just get another shirt idea?
Whoops, context.
Somebody write that down.
That's another
we
shirt.
used to be billed when I first started wrestling. I was billed from Waco, Texas, because of the Waco incident. So we can get into that right now. I've actually yet to see the miniseries thing on Netflix or whatever. I've heard
It was
that
very
it's
well done.
phenomenal.
It was very
I've
well
heard
done.
that. I've heard that it was very well done.
Yeah, but are you a big
David
fan
Koresh.
of Waco?
Yeah, David Koresh and the Waco incident. Absolutely.
Hell
Who
yeah.
wouldn't want to have? I'm also, if you guys haven't caught on, I don't know if we've talked about this on this show at all, but have we talked about how one of my idols is Jim Jones? No, we haven't talked about that yet.
Well, we never heard you say idol.
Well, I've watched literally every documentary there is on the man, and I've listened to quite a few tapes, and I've watched quite a few home movies, and I'm a bit of an enthusiast. It's the only way I can put it. I don't know if that's a good
was
thing.
I a guinea pig for those times I drank at your house and you mixed the Kool-Aid with vodka and they're like huge cups?
No, I wouldn't.
I'm still alive.
This came around later on, so luckily, maybe that's my fascination. Maybe that's the bond there, but I can assure you that was
Oh my
not the
God, I
case.
can't believe I
Bond, right?
survived that one.
See, no, but that was not the
vodka,
case
it's
for back
Everclear.
then. Everclear back then, yeah.
Devil,
But no, that was
devil.
not the case. I wasn't into. I didn't really come around to Jim Jones until probably like my early 20s when I was doing research on something, and I found out about him, and not a good guy. So when I say idol, I don't mean like I'm.
What do you mean?
Oh no, I know
guy.
this bullshit. Chubbs.
But I'm quite the enthusiast. Like everybody's attracted to something story wise, and for some reason that story.
Oh, it's very fascinating and traumatic.
Yeah, it really blows my mind, and it doesn't matter how many documentaries or pieces I've seen on that incident. I can't get enough of it. Like I can't. I don't know why I can't stop. I can't. It's like a train wreck. I cannot stop watching it, and I know all of it already. There are people that are like that with.
That's me with Charles Manson though.
There are people. No, but there are people. Yeah, with Charles Manson.
I get it.
There are people that. A lot of people are like World War II enthusiasts that know everything. Like they watch every single documentary that ever comes out about World War II because I think that there's a fascination about the psychology in the way humans think and the way, especially the time before us. That's even more so why I went on my.
It's a huge fascination for a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, realistically,
what comedians?
Not a good guy.
I was just about to say what.
Guy,
what comedian?
Phenomenal speaker.
Always talks about it.
I get the fascination.
What comedian was the one that was always like, oh my God, it's Tom. Tom Segura always talks about how his dad is so fucking obsessed with watching any new Hitler documentary.
Well, but that was also that guy's generation. He also was a Vietnam veteran. So like for him, that was, and we have people that came after him that are obsessed with Vietnam. Like, I mean, all those things, because if we weren't around to see it, the thing is this kind of goes back to my issue with like the generational gap on like a movie like this with New York being the way it was. People nowadays don't have fear like this. They don't understand what this is like. So they don't, the generation behind Ben that's coming up now, they don't really quite understand that. So unless they see things like this, unless they see documentaries and stuff like that, they don't really quite get like how good they really have it. Just that's why I have a fascination for stuff like this, because I go, oh hey man, like yeah, things suck sometimes, but like could be worse. We could be hiding under our fucking desk every time we hear a fucking siren. You know what I mean? Like back in the fucking 50s or 40s when they thought the A bomb was dropping every fucking 10 seconds. Like scariest moment in history, in my opinion, is Oppenheimer talking about Bhagavad Gita, whatever, when he's like, I am the destroyer of worlds, bringer of death. Have you ever heard that? The fucking most terrifying thing you'll ever listen to in your entire life. That thing, that fucking phrase from Oppenheimer, it will scare the shit out of you. And I don't care who you are, it's terrifying. He realizes what he did, and it's just it blows your mind to think of, like, imagine being the guy.
He sounds so sad.
Thing that can, well, no shit. Like he fucking realized.
I'm not even saying it as a joke. Like he says that if you actually listen to him, he says like such a fucking depressed, defeated human being because he created something that could ultimately just destroy everything, just no matter what.
Yeah. Well, this is a deep episode, guys.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cut myself after this episode.
You know what's great about Tony Savini and that? He had a great porn mustache.
Who's Tony Savini?
Tom. I went too fast. Tom Savini's 80s.
You're good.
Porn stash. I was trying to get my joke out and I screwed up his name.
I'm glad that you brought it back. Let's get back into this.
Yeah, I was trying to bring it back.
One of the best head explosions from its era. Yes. One of the best shotgun head explosions I've ever fucking seen. That scene fucking rules. If you're a horror fan,
dude, I could not have adored that scene anymore if I fucking tried. Just the idea
it was so good.
Watching Frank,
was so good.
Like you see him in the fog, and like that right there is awesome too.
Thank you for bringing me that.
And like, dude, he's just sitting there like a shape, and then all wink, and then he just sprints up to the car, jumps on it, bam, fucking blows Tony Savini's head away. Wink.
Tom Savini.
Yeah, I know.
Tom.
Call back. No,
that was Tom.
Slow down, brain. Slow down.
Slow down, brain. Have another vodka. It'll make it.
No, but he blows fucking Tom Savini's head away.
I don't want to have you guys wait.
Take your time. We're good.
I always stand up to go piss anyway.
Thirsty Thursday, boys. We're here as a team. That's why we have three of us. Yeah. So. Fucking such a great scene and such a good tension builder when he's chasing the girl around. The girl doesn't know where it's going to come from, and she even tried getting Tom Savini to like leave, and he doesn't believe her. He gets out of the car at one point, fucking doesn't see anything, gets back in, and then
yeah, he's such a typical guy.
Oh god, it's such a good fucking scene. Anybody that shits on this movie needs to fucking reevaluate their life, because this movie's fucking great.
I'm gonna throw this out to you, and then we'll give it my drink while you're in the middle of that.
That's fine.
We'll talk about the awkward, drawn out scenes.
Mm-hmm.
We had the gun facing the woman while she's in a car seat.
Oh my god, that's tension.
I'll be right back.
Go ahead. I'm glad you just said that. Me and Ben will keep this going.
Something like that. Like that's such a terrifying thing, because you have to think too with Tom Savini. Obviously, jokes aside, Tom Savini.
We know his fucking name.
Peace and love.
Yeah, we all know.
He sprints up to this fucking dude. Frank sprints up to this dude's car, blows his head out. That is the most terrifying thing on the planet for any person to see. Not woman, not man, whatever it is. No matter who you are, that shit's terrifying. But dude, with the woman, he takes his sweet ass time, walks around the car, lets that shit settle in. That poor girl is there, terrified. This Tom Savini has a hole in his fucking head. The disco boy, and then
fucking blood splatters on her face in slow motion and shit. Yeah,
that obviously, so like Tom Savini came a long way from. Did he debut with Friday the 13th or no, with special effects work? But
no. I think he did stuff before that.
So you got
there's a good documentary on him on Shudder.
There is, and a great granted too, like In Search of Darkness, obviously like they did a whole piece on him too, where I'm glad he got to talk about himself in a way, and I thought that was good. But like you had to see like how fucking long he came along, and how far he came along with that special effects work.
He was a war veteran, and that's where he learned.
He saw everything.
Like, how to set up things. He took pictures of dead bodies.
Amen.
All over the place.
In Nam too. Fuck that. No, thank you.
So, like,
he saw
that's why he separates himself from everybody else, because he he has real life photos that he took himself and cataloged them, and fucking of like dead bodies and explosions, and you know what like the human, like how, to make real coagulated blood, you need to add green to it or whatever to make it like look realistic, or
Yeah,
whatever the case.
he learned that
it's
from
wild.
the guy that did the Romero movies, whatever, the old ones. But yeah, no, like that shit was insane. And like that poor girl had to fucking sit there and wait to basically know you're gonna die. Like there's no escape. There's nothing you can do. You're sitting there and that's it, man. And then he still got that scalp though. Don't worry. He must have shot her in the chest.
It kind of like what at this point I'd written how much I love the sound design of the parts, which we already talked about. Really good with
tense,
like the shoddy like 80
yeah,
synth, and like the high pitch like violin shrieks and stuff that kind of like guide you along in the movie, which is really good in the high tips and spots. But what's really good, and then from there I like the part where kind of fast forward a little bit. It goes to like two ladies just talking about like a madman on the loose. So now by this point they're talking about a serial killer being on the loose in the city, and like you don't know when he's going to strike next, what he's going to do next. And by this point you realize like what they're actually trying to set up for this movie. It's not your typical slasher where it's like, oh, you'll find out who the killer is later on, and maybe there's like a honey dick moment where, oh nope, it's not actually that person, it's the cousin of that person, or whatever the case may be. This movie's about this guy having a fucking problem in his brain and like taking it out on people and living two different lives. And by this point you're starting to really catch on to what's going on. Like this is them setting up him being a serial killer, like
a maniac,
a maniac, right? Exactly. Going through a city, ravaging a city, a major city like New York City, and going through it at that time frame. This is really how it would have been. It would have taken a couple days. It would have taken weeks, really, because things didn't happen right.
And this guy did it in a day, and not like just a day. Obviously, it's spanned. So here's this is where I first started to get the correlation. So
still alive.
So you had a guy out here. He clearly has mental issues. That's the whole point of the movie. Is realistically, it's Frank dealing with the psychosis of living with the child abuse and living with all of that. So I had to draw comparisons to another movie with that one adjective fucking or whatever the hell it is. My back. One adjective fucking title for a movie. Psycho. I just cracked my back so hard. Dude, this movie is a gorier, faster paced Psycho. And that's not a bad thing, but
there's virtually zero gore in Psycho, so that's not
excuse you. You see the Hershey's chocolate syrup? Excuse you. That's pretty.
Sorry.
Oh, and excuse you see the mom with no eyes. That's pretty terrifying too, dickhead.
Ooh, a skull.
Yeah, that shit was terrifying. Actually, they did have barf bags back then.
So all we, just to catch up, all we did was we kind of went from that scene.
We praised the shotgun. We praised that whole scene.
We talked about how by this point they cut to some ladies talking about a madman being on the loose, and how like this is how things would have been reported about an actual serial killer back then. Like this is when you kind of realize that it's not just like your typical slasher movie where like I'm not supposed to know who the killer is until the end, and there's really not much of like a honey dick until like where most movies have that like, ooh, pull the rug out from under you. This movie's about this guy going fucking crazy and like what's going on in his life and what's going on in his head. So this is the point where you kind of start realizing that. And then I put this is where the park scene comes up, which is kind of awkward, and it's like, wait, he's gonna kill a little kid, which is really out of the norm for him. But he like walks up to that little kid on the bike or the skateboard.
It was very Halloween, by the way.
Yeah,
with
like
the pumpkin.
Like long, exactly, with the pumpkin scene. And then it's just a fucking odd scene, and it gets stopped by a lady with like a long lens camera.
Yeah,
but she doesn't realize that she stops a little kid from getting killed. Well, yeah, she ends up chasing her back down, which we'll find out later on. So this is where like I think I kind of lost it a little bit. I think I can tie it in. You guys will hopefully help me out. Even though I've seen the movie twice now. Is she the photographer lady, the British lady?
Yes.
Yeah, he
figures out the address. That was the importance of that. Is so he looks at the bag. Yes, he looks at the bag. He sees the address, and like that's when you hear the na like in fucking
motherfucker.
Do they do that same?
So much more sense.
Yeah, they do that same music thing from Friday, and it's like na.
I didn't realize that it was the same person taking pictures until like just now.
I just thought of this, by
This
the
is where
way.
my internet went,
Random thing too. This is a really. I think this is gonna be a really hot take. This is my hot take of this movie, and that's it. That this movie had a better head explosion scene than Scanners.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Ooh.
Well, how about when we watch, because then you'll Scanners
Better.
we will talk
Nope.
about
more
when we watch
better.
Scanners.
Yeah.
Nope.
I,
We'll watch-
I'm actually.
More iconic. It
I've
goes to
actually-
Scanners, obviously. But
We'll have
better.
to discuss that another time.
We'll
That was-
revisit that. We watch it. We watch
This was
Scanners.
pretty good, but man, I don't know. Scanners was.
I
wild.
love Scanners. I
might
actually
retract what I
fucking
just said.
love that movie, but that's my hot take is the head explosion, and this is better than, and I think Savini did both, and Scanners definitely came out later, but
I mean, they are two different things. So you got a quick
They're-
headshot, and the other
yeah.
guy's head just like bubbling.
Yeah.
No, I
Everything
think
up to-
I know.
I could be wrong. I thought Scanners was Greg fucking Nicotero. You might want to look it up. I don't
It's
think that was
the director of the movie. It's the same guy that did Videodrome.
No.
Yes, it's the
No,
director's
yeah, I know that.
Cronenberg, but the special effects.
It's Cronenberg. Thank you.
Yeah, the special effects. Yeah, Cronenberg. That
Let's look it up. Hold on.
But the,
I'll
yeah, 'cause
I'll
the
nadav
special
it.
effects, that's not a very Savini-esque thing where like that was big with like the movement. Like Scanners, it was like it looked almost like something was moving underneath the dude's head, like bubbling in his skull before it exploded. It was like a long shot.
Savini
It
did do
just
Friday
happened.
13th Part 1.
Yeah, we were talking about
No,
that.
no, right,
like,
what you
right
did,
before.
but that's still such
So
a different.
I always say that only because of when I made the comparisons earlier. Just kind of clicked. I forgot. You know. I
Right.
was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting.
Actually, we brought that up actually when you went
You-
to grab the beverage.
Gary Zeller.
Both drink and bathroom.
Gary Zeller.
Okay, I knew it wasn't Savini,
Gary
but I
Zeller,
wasn't
huh?
sure.
Okay.
I knew it was something
No,
like
that's
that.
where I was
So-
guessing, so I didn't know. So I think in
No,
that aspect,
That's not a Savini
um,
thing. If you look at a lot of Savini's
he
work,
does
it's
real-
a lot more
like real stuff.
realistic stuff, or it's
It's a lot more colorful. I feel like with Tom Savini, it's bright.
well,
bright
it's more,
red.
It's more realistic,
Right.
And it's also more like you'll see more of like cutting into skin and then seeing blood drip.
Which
or you'll
that's
see,
where
like,
that's where some
a
like
pole go through somebody's chest,
Right,
or,
like
a head explode from a
Friday the
shotgun or-
13th, like he fucking nailed it, like the arrow through the neck, and like he
Mhm.
does
And
the decapitation, and like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
never been done before in what 70.
where Scanners was
Eight?
more like that reminded me more of almost
No.
like a lot of
Friday
the
13th is the
effects
same
in,
year as
Was it 80?
as Maniac.
It's
Friday
80.
13th came out. Friday 13th came out 2 months after Maniac.
No
I
shit.
wrote
What?
that, I wrote that down because I knew it was gonna happen.
Holy
I just
shit.
knew it was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
1980. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I thought it was like 79. Never mind. Oh,
Yeah, I always thought so. No, Halloween was 79.
No, yeah, thank you. Halloween 79.
Oh,
is a-
78. No,
no, Halloween was
78. My
78
bad.
because
78.
Yeah.
I went off a year. My bad.
Wait, I always thought it was 79 also.
no,
but either
because
way,
no,
79,
because
2018 's
2018's was exactly 40
Black-
years.
Black Christmas is before that. Isn't
Black
it?
Christmas
Isn't it technically
was
Black Christmas?
75. Oh, yeah, 74.
And that's,
No, it's
that's
74.
technically
Yeah.
That's technically the original slasher, right? Because that even beats out fucking Texas Chainsaw. And a lot of people want to give it to Texas Chainsaw.
Chainsaw was
Chainsaw was
73.
Wait,
No,
Nope.
no.
So I figured that out.
It was
wait,
77,
I got
78.
it. Nope, wait, 74.
Oh, same year.
Oh, okay.
I'll say,
Wow, I was off.
in terms of what a true slasher movie is gonna be, I'd give it to Black Christmas.
I've actually never seen that.
Texas Chainsaw.
too.
Yeah, no, Texas Chainsaw. It's more so like that psychological torture.
Yeah,
Porn, I
Chasing's
guess.
definitely torture porn, but a
Yeah,
little bit
it-
slasher with torture porn.
It
yeah.
definitely
But no, I
has
mean,
slasher elements, but Black Christmas, dude, that's what the idea that
The babysitter
that,
killers and
yeah,
sorority
that's where it
houses
came from. Is definitely Black Christmas.
Well, I mean, yeah. Either way, and then
Anyway.
then there's Prom Night, and then there's fucking there's a bunch of those movies that came out back then that people they forget about. I think that what I'm getting at with that saying the whole slasher thing is a lot of people just they only put like the fucking Fantastic Four in that, which is like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers,
Right.
and fucking.
And they miss all the
Secret
other
Year
ones.
4.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, since we're talking about slasher
Leatherface,
scenes,
rather.
slasher scenes, this nurse scene, the nurse running through the subway is very slasher.
Oh, it's
slasher-esque.
fucking awesome.
Oh, actually, you know what?
Love it.
Let's move forward a little bit. I'm glad. Let me just.
That
make
is
sure-
reminiscent of
Because that
Halloween.
was segue.
I was thinking of
No,
Halloween.
I'm glad you talking about because this is where we can really start like going through this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I put subway station Chase Rooney turns into a bathroom tension
Was it-
builder. This is actually very well done, especially for such a low.
She
budget
was
flick.
good.
Dude,
That lady
fucking
crushed
scene,
it.
Shaking.
the absolute best scene.
Yep.
The
Holy
absolute best scene in
crap.
this whole movie.
That's
Her
the most.
acting
That's the
was
most
amazing.
tense.
Best thing.
That shit was pure tension. Like the whole way.
Again,
Dude,
the dragging out the build. Sorry, go ahead.
yes.
I
No.
was going with you.
You got it, dude. They drag out that. What Joe said, because Joe definitely said it first, dude. They drag out each and every scene. And Frank is definitely. I don't know if he's doing this to torture the poor women or anything. But they did this as like a creative choice. But holy shit, dude, fucking
He was messing with her.
hats off to them. He definitely fucking knew she was there the whole time. It was. But,
And then that goes with the classic. She washed her face, and then you can see the relief in her acting again, from the shaking and the shaking, the terrified shaking to the relief shaking. I'm like, oh my god!
Piggy.
And then as she looks up, like, oh, there he is, and then the bayonet.
Yep. Dude, that whole movie, that whole scene.
That was Friday 13th before Friday 13th.
Agreed. And that whole scene, even like with her, like the close-up shots that they were showing, which were like unnerving, and then the fucking watching him like try to figure it out. And then he was clearly, it seemed like he was rope-a-doping her, meaning like, oh, like I'm not gonna go this far. Clearly, there's only one more place for me to go, but I'm gonna walk away now. But you're waiting for that big fucking scare where like we're used to and trained now with the big jump scares. This movie doesn't do that. This movie still gives you those, but it's not the same design that they are nowadays. Like nowadays, this would have been fucking terrible, even though it was redone. So who knows if this scene was redone or not? But
no, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
A whole different thing. It's wild.
Good.
Yeah.
So this was one of those amazing fucking shots where you have just like long shots, tension building. You're watching a woman in panic. You're listening to her breathe. You can hear the sound design very well. You can fucking see the close-up, weird, like shaky shot of her, like on her face. Like you don't really know what's going on. You can't really see him, but you can't really see much past her face because that's how like it feels. You know, you feel claustrophobic. I guess is the best.
Ho ho ho.
Then he leaves. She thinks she can fucking go out. She puts her head out really slowly, comes back in, takes a really deep breath, breathes a bunch. Like you can feel the fucking tension in this woman, and you can feel the tension on the screen. You can feel what they were really trying to do with the scene. And god damn it, it's so good, man. It's such a good horror scene. Like people don't understand. Like horror isn't always about like, oh, the blood that happens afterwards. Like horror, this is scary.
No, that's what 80s slashers did to the genre. Unfortunately, it was good and bad.
Yes,
but like you said, yeah.
But this was great. And you know, and this is another one that like I don't really. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't really remember seeing very many boobs. Like this was before they were really exploiting like, well, oh, here's a dumb blonde chick running down the woods.
Yeah, there's like
titties out. Like,
there's a model.
This was a movie more about. Yeah, but I mean that was quick. There wasn't very much of it. Like so like one show where by the time they get to like Friday the 13th Part 4 and 5, it's just every other scene is just somebody banging
titties.
Well, the first Halloween, it was a quick like with
the sister.
Yeah. And all those.
I think the Friday 13th started. The Friday 13th started that, didn't they?
What, the excessive titty?
The exploitation? Yeah, I think so. With
but
it's not that.
It was that bad.
Oh well, not the first one, but by the time they hit the fourth and fifth one, the fifth one is titty scene after titty
the fifth was out of control. That was
crazy. Hey, to be fair, I just
that's
rewatched.
Not why it's my favorite one, but I just love that one.
I just rewatched 7, and there's only one pair of titty. Granted, it's the wicked hot chick, the redhead, and you only see her titties. I'm just saying, there's only one pair.
Well, 7 works. It's a serial killer movie. You know, we just start a drinking game. How many times Ben says titties, and then how many times Ed freezes?
Titties.
Did I freeze?
Titty alert.
I didn't freeze.
No, you didn't freeze yet.
Titty alert.
Yeah. So what's weird? The other thing. So on my side, when I'm watching me, I never freeze or anything. Like you guys will freeze.
Okay, Black Panther.
Weird happens. But like when I watch these back, my voice is clear the entire time. But like, I get real like fucking like robotic sometimes. Which drives me nuts. You guys are fine. So I gotta get a better setup. But we're gonna get that's
Hey Joe,
this is
titties,
low budget, just like these movies, right? And titties.
Titties.
Right, so, somebody's seen is fucking amazing. And then when she gets cut behind, we have that. And then I love how this movie goes directly from the highest tension scene in the movie and one of the best scenes I've seen in like an early low budget horror movie.
The model scene.
Oh, here's a fucking fashion show. Like what the fuck? Like it's so weird. It's such a weird dynamic how he goes right through that, which was an odd choice and maybe was a little bit of a low point, but it sets up what happens later on. And I'll be honest, it's now that I know that it was the same lady, or realize that it was the same lady that he goes.
Oh, you milking a cow over there?
Yeah, he's pulling some udders. Now that I realize a little bit better after talking to you guys that the lady in the park that saves the little kid essentially from Frank, this is his ploy to like get in with her.
Yeah.
But I just thought it wasn't well fleshed out because it kind of just feels like, oh, this is just what he's doing because he's into like weird fashion stuff and mannequins, and you just assume that this is like what he does on the side.
Oh, he said another great line I forgot about.
What's that?
When he was talking to her and he said what kind of painting and art he does, he said something like, oh no, I can't believe I didn't write the line down.
He said landscapes. Like, oh, he basically says like
something like stills or still lives or something like that.
Yeah.
Art. And I started
Yeah.
laughing.
Yeah.
So messed
up.
I
did hear that. That is good. Yep, that is good. Yeah, he goes in interviews or something with her, and then like she's doing some fucking photo shoot or something, and then he meets a couple other people that he ends up killing later on, and then I love how
this is where the movie was losing me.
Big time. See, I actually enjoyed this part because it shows how I think this shows how crazy he really is because it shows how normal he can be in front of people he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Well, and then it's unassuming. So think about American Psycho, which is kind of like a really dark comedy. It's really designed to not be a full horror. It's designed to be funny. Think about that movie, right? Think about like all the funny shit that really happens in the movie, and think about how normal he is during the day with his big fucking millionaire job or whatever that he has, and think about how crazy he is at nighttime. Like that's not an uncommon theory or thought process because most serial killers, like Ted Bundy is a great example. This is kind of where the Ted Bundy thing comes in. Ted Bundy was very normal. He had a very charming, very smart guy, law school student, was going to be a fucking lawyer. Had essentially like a live-in wife, even though they weren't married, like but a long-term wife with a daughter, and like took very good care of her. They never knew anything was going on. Like he hid it completely from them, never put them in danger, never really like hurt them at all. Well, the wife, anyways. But like, it just goes to show you that like these people can do this. And I mean, fuck man, Charles Manson, like, say what you want about it, how crazy he was. Before everything happened, he wasn't crazy. Like this is where the MK Ultra thing was, in which we've called back to a different
Mortal Kombat.
That is, there's a thing about that. MK Ultra is tied to fucking Charles Manson. Like he was a lot of. I'm pretty sure he was an FBI informant, and he was way more fucking intelligent than people realize.
He for sure was.
And there was way more going on there than people won't fucking realize. And he was just the fucking scapegoat. Yes, he went crazy, but like a lot of drugs will do that to you. You know, that could happen.
Hell yeah.
But the point is I actually enjoyed this part of the movie. I enjoyed the fact that they're building up like hey, let's see what he is in the daytime when he's not being fucking crazy, madman, serial killer, maniac guy. Like what how does he get through his days? How does he get through the rigmarole of like city life? Oh well, he just can play whoever he fucking feels like playing. That's the thing. What they never show is what he's done in the past. We don't know what he's done in the past. We don't know how crazy or what other extents he's gone to. So,
let's hear Ben's before, because I'm going to go with you on that. But let's hear Ben's take, because I know his takes will be a little different than ours. So I want him get that.
That I agree.
I want to get
all right,
the
so
negatives or the challenge on it.
Right. So for me, this is where you had scene after scene after scene of the title of the movie. He's a maniac, so we're seeing it. Granted, what I will give props to this movie is for it did give a lot more actually personality to Frank. You can see what he could really do in terms of luring the women, and that's where I was thinking actually like a Ted Bundy, for example.
Yeah, you get to see his charm. You get to see what he's really
even though he's this, let's be honest, he's this fat ugly guy. You could still see him fucking lay the charm thick with people and still lure them in. And I feel like that goes into psychotic people. They know, dude. They know exactly what to do. And pathological liars like he is. And you get to really see that shine with Frank and everything he says, everything he does. And what I will say is, to its credit, it's a good way to make it so it's not just him killing people. Him killing people, skin them, go on to the next scene. Killing people, and then next scene. And at least tried. So that's where I'll say it came out in the 80s, so I get it. It at least attempted to give Frank some character and a lot more backstory to really have you think about how fucking psychotic serial killers really are.
Because you hated it somehow.
I still hated it. Because realistically, I wish it was. something different. I don't know in what. Just the theme just wasn't really hooking me at all because I just thought that was random. It kind of just reminded me of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Frank just kind of turns. Go figure, Frank is Mantis Toboggan, and he has like the white fucking wig, and he just does that, and he doesn't know what he's talking about with art. It kind of just reminded me of exactly of that, where it was just kind of bullshit. I don't know. I didn't like the dinner scene. I thought that was fucking boring. It
but
definitely
it's designed to slow it down a little bit. It's
right. I'm not. It's just
to kind of rope you in and make you think like, whoa, what's going on now? Why?
Because
why are
granted, all right. So maybe I'm being a little too harsh on it, and then because it did make the bathtub scene, or like with that woman in particular, that victim, it made that scene a lot more tense too, because you had that slowdown period, and then bam, it goes right back up with her. So all right, maybe I'm being a little too
I'll go
harsh on it.
I'll jump in because you guys said everything I was pretty much going to say with that scene.
Yep.
I think I agree. The negatives of it is it was so thrown out left field a little bit and so weird, and it has the 80s cheese, but at the same time, it did help because you were being punched in the face constantly with this guy's psychosis and what he's doing to these poor people and stuff. And so it is a good breather. And it's also kind of a mind fuck a little bit because you're seeing the charm. And you're seeing him kind of go from sleazy, still looks sleazy, look like a sleazy art guy, but kind of like him a little bit. Because it's not just him by himself, it's this chemistry he has with Anna, he has with her all of a sudden. The chemistry he has with her when they're talking the art. He's got a little bit of this, like a little bit of this like typical, I'm gonna mansplain with you on art the way I ask you questions crap, but he kind of looks like he kind of gives into her a little bit. The dinner stuff like that. He looks like it looks like it's not a typical kill. It looks like an infatuation, almost kind of like, holy crap, is he actually falling for her? Like because like he doesn't have that with any of these other characters, with these other women. These other women just straight quick kills or like messing with a sex worker type thing. This is somebody he would just like kind of like it almost kind of felt
Joe.
for,
I think you just kind of opened up a little bit more of some of the stuff that I didn't think about later on with this movie. There were some things that I kind of like got lost in because this is when I started taking notes.
Me too.
Again, my internet came
I
back
don't take notes during the movie. I won't do it.
No, but I think you feel. I'm glad that one of us doesn't. Like, I'm glad that we do different things with that because then it kind of fills in and can even change your opinion. Like, my score is probably still going to be the same.
My score is going to be exactly the same still.
Oh, yeah.
It still helps the
right.
The
See,
of the movie.
Hearing you guys say it gives me different perspectives on it as a whole. Because for me, I'll be honest, I like the blood and guts more. As you can say that I've said like I the head exploding scene a lot. I like that type of stuff a little bit more. But you can still give credits to the really fucking. I think this goes to Frank's acting. I forget the guy's name. Tony Spinelli.
No,
Joe Spinelli.
Am I right? I wrote it down. Joe Spinell.
Joe Spinell.
He was a hell of an actor.
Holy shit.
Okay, he did great. He did very well.
Yeah, I feel like this should be giving a little bit more credit to his acting because he didn't do a ton before this, and unfortunately he didn't do a lot afterwards too. I noticed. But yeah, no, I think he did a great job. It's just I think more so for me, like I thought the theme of it was kind of boring. It was just like, oh, here's this camera person and here's these photographers. Okay, it just didn't. That part didn't do it for me. But I think he still sold it a good job.
Fell off, but I think that when you go back and realize like what I just did, the epiphany of like, oh no, he like hunted this woman down to get in her head, and then maybe Joe had a good point. Well, you were gone for a second later. That maybe he actually, as talking to her, maybe he felt normal, and then maybe he kind of felt infatuated with the girl.
Yeah, I heard that too, and that like I was taking a piss and was like, ooh, that's a good idea. That's a good thought.
So
only when I was peeing.
To move it forward, good call, Joe. To move it forward, then I put but now after the weird photography scene after that part. We get but now the fucking dick. Well, the dick dude complains about paying the fucking models $100 an hour. Frank starts.
Oh, that dude's an asshole. That dude's more of an asshole than Frank.
That's a weird. Well, that's a good setup scene because you can see Frank's brain start like his mouth starts twitching, and you can see that he's really uncomfortable because he's like, "Oh, I want to fucking kill that guy." Yeah, it was a weird scene. And then there was also
you can relate to it, which is terrifying.
right before that happened, there was a song when the models were like modeling or whatever. It was like I couldn't tell if it was saying is the song saying going to the showdown. I couldn't. It was such a weird
Yeah,
fucking song.
yeah.
But anyways,
I thought
then
it
this
fit
is
though, which
to
is
where
weird.
this is where it did. This is where it goes into him going and kidnapping one of the chicks from the modeling scene.
Mhm.
Actually, it's her
He
apartment.
kidnaps her.
He keeps her in
What's
her
that?
apartment. Yeah, he kills her in her apartment.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought he
Yeah.
kidnapped her and brought her to his. But
That's where you really start to see him fucking get tapped.
Yeah, he kidnaps her and he starts talking to himself again, like in front of her.
Oof.
This is where you really
Yeah.
start putting the pieces together. That like, oh, this is truly a psychosis issue, because he's like, wait, you want me to like? I'm not gonna hurt you or whatever, or like whatever he kept on fucking saying.
I
He
really
kept
was
on
I'm
hoping
just
he
gonna
saying
would
keep
win
you.
it too. Actually,
I'm gonna
I
keep
really
you
was hoping he
forever.
wouldn't. That-
Yeah, he kept on kind of talking to himself, but this is the first time where he's actually taking a victim alive. So you kind of think like, well, maybe he's gonna like let her go,
Mhm.
and then nope. Eventually, he stabs her right in the fucking chest with a switchblade.
No, it's the
A
stomach
fucking,
actually, and he holds it there for a long time.
that's
Yeah.
what it is.
And it's just
Still
like,
a
oh.
fucking sweet switchblade. Thank you, 1970. Anyways, but yeah. So he then he like then you see him scalp her with the fucking the box cutter, which there was one scene where the box cutter looked really fake and rubbery, and then I almost commented on it, and I drew back my comment because I've had those kind of box cutters where they're thin and they're designed that the blade's supposed to snap off when it gets dull. You're not actually supposed to pull the whole blade out. You're supposed to pull it out like a quarter at a time. And then when that blade gets dull, you snap it off, and you click it up one more click, and then there's another piece. So those are very flexible. They're literally designed to snap off. So like when I thought about it like that, I was like, oh shit, like it still looks rubbery and fake, but like it when you realize that there are box cutters out there that are designed to flex and be thin like that, you go, oh, there is some realism here. I don't know how well those would do with scalping somebody, but
right.
I've never scalped somebody, so who knows? Anybody willing to try? Let me know. Well, help you take a little off the top, right above the ear.
Box cutter
Anyways,
scalping.
Anytime you're ready. Yeah, we had some fun, guys.
Let me throw us out there, go with the trauma real quick.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, and then I'm done with the scene because I'm trying to see this right so I don't sound too dirty because it's such another disturbing scene.
You are a dirty girl.
Thank you. I'm a lion's daughter.
Ooh.
So when he actually stabs her and he kind of falls on her, and this is, I think, you could see where I think his abuse affected him because that was a very. It looked like a couple having sex and he just finished. That's what it looked like the way he was panting, the way he fell on her. And I'm like, this is
us in the porn
man.
world would say the climax.
I'm trying my best to just like not even say any other word because
he
it's
came.
such a disturbing scene.
I said the climax.
Probably did.
And I said,
dirty. Ben's dirty.
I am.
Ooh, Ben's a fucking dirty.
I'm a dirty boy.
That's old Neanderthals.
Mommy.
Watch out for.
Mommy.
Yeah. So I agree. That was you're right. There was a sexual nature there and some fucking trauma. Then we go from that part to he takes the photographer chick out to see his dead mama's grave. He takes her out on a date.
What a great date.
What a fucking weird date. We're gonna just stop by my mom because after they I think this girl's name was Rita, also the one that he just killed, and they go to like I'm pretty sure he went to the funeral with her, which is even fucking crazier.
Her name was Rita, so I think that triggered him a little bit too. Yeah.
Yeah. So then when he goes to hook up with the British chick, who also was not unattractive, goes to hook up with the British chick, the photographer lady. He brings her to mama's grave, and then this whole fucking scene gets wild. And this is like we can really start like lightning around in it because this shit gets fucking nuts.
Yeah, because it moves quick.
It does move super fast here. This is like the end of the movie essentially. It's about 20 minutes long, but like this is, I mean, when the movie's only an hour and 20 minutes and the rest of it's set up, like this is fucking nuts. So Mama's grave starts talking about Rita, and then he comes. Then all of a sudden it comes to a chase through a graveyard, which is kind of a really cool scene because there's a lot of fog and a lot of like. Really, I don't know if it was a fake graveyard that they did for like.
It was a soundstage.
I mean, it looks fucking fantastic. It's such a good scene. They did a really good job with cinematography in that scene. One hell of a sharp shovel when she fucking slashes at him and splits his fucking artery in his arm open. It takes a lot of force to be able to do something like that. So that was a little unrealistic, but I'm gonna go with it.
Well, it is a corner in that show you get somebody with though.
Yeah, especially if it's.
I agree.
You know, if it got dinged up before, then that's jagged edge.
If a mother can pick up a car and save her baby, and then
true.
she can't.
Again, I'm not. That's why I'm gonna. Hey, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna try to like plot fucking hole it too much because I did enjoy it. So, but when you
Yeah.
look at that and you go, your first reaction goes, nah, I don't know about that. But then you go,
Yeah, see, I
fuck
loved
it. I
it.
mean,
I loved
Yeah,
it.
I've
I
seen
liked
weirder
it
shit.
too.
I agree. I did like it. It's her trying to fight
But
back.
you got good points,
But
though.
it was just one of the. I like to throw out counterpoints. Look, I loved it too as far as being a horror fan and what it did for the chase scene because then
Mhm.
that kind of fucks him up. Like, oh, this is the first time he's got hurt, which really sends him
Ready?
down
The
more
one that
psychosis
got
with his mom.
away.
You are right. This is the one that got away. Good job. You were ready for the puns. I like it. Between that and Let Freedom Ring with a shotgun blast, we were on point tonight. Between the two of us. Then we put now like when he's laying on the ground, this is where like the psychosis part of it comes from, like him being like physically traumatized as a child. So we don't really know what his mom did to him, but we know that she didn't do something very nice to him. This is where the scars from earlier come back into play because this is when he like shuts down because he's hurt, right? And all of a
Mhm.
sudden now he's like he starts hearing his own voice as a little kid asking to not be locked up in a closet and to not be hurt and to not be.
Mhm.
This is really where you go, oh no, like oh this is why he is the way he is. Like oh mama was like his problem, and then he goes back and like lays in front of mama's grave for a minute, and then what the fuck, man? Zombie mama comes out of the grave grabbing him was a great attempt at a jump scare. Can't say I thought I was going to see that because there wasn't a fucking zombie before this and that. And this is where the hallucination kind of side of it starts coming in. Like how much of what he's seen has actually been seen? Like how
Mhm.
much of what he's been seeing has been real? Like how much of like are all these scenes really what's happened, or is this what he's played out in his mind, and maybe it was just a really quick kill, or maybe he hasn't
Yeah.
killed any of them? We like this
How,
is where the fuckery does start
how
kind
good
of.
was he actually with talking to these women before, or was it
Well,
was
right,
all
right,
that
right,
in his
exactly.
head?
Right. Was he actually that suave when he went and
Hmm.
like hooked up with the photography chick, or did he
Mhm.
just follow her down and kill her? Like we don't really know. I mean, think about this. Is goes into the Joker, the
I
movie
was
that
just
Ben brought
thinking
up
that
earlier.
too. It was all in
That's a
his head.
great. I'm so glad you brought that up. Now that I think about it, because that most of that movie was all in his head. The whole movie plays out where he's got a girlfriend, he goes and kisses her, and all this other shit, and like turns out none of that ever happened. That was all made up in his mind, and
Mhm.
you don't realize that until the end. And I mean, it's possible. People have crazy psychosis problems. People really do see things in
I
their mind and think that they happen.
I'll throw out there. I think a lot of it is real because a lot of it was in the papers. Other than the couple at the beach, I agree with you. That could have been a
Right.
dream or hallucination. Um,
Well,
I think this
again,
is. I think this
American
is very.
Psycho.
This is very serial killer esque mentality, where they keep doing their kills, and then like so it takes years, so it takes months, and then their psychosis continues to decline.
Mhm.
And so now you got this one woman who has this infatuation with, and the only one he's like, I want to take you to my mother's grave. So that says a lot right there.
Mhm.
That's like like oh, it's like, hey, come meet my mother.
Yeah.
So and then he plans on killing her there, which I would imagine it means a lot to him and to his trauma. And then she gets away and she takes him out. So the combination of his brain was always getting worse. We saw his brain get worse when he killed Rita, the model,
Mhm.
the way he's talking and stuff like that. And then so now we got this combination of like, okay, he just lost somebody, so that broke his brain. He gets
Mhm.
hit with the show, so that probably hit an artery, like I said. So the loss of blood's hitting his brain, so the hallucinations start kicking in
Well,
right then and there.
and I don't think it's just the loss of I don't think it's just the loss of blood. I think the being physically harmed is what got him there,
That does it too. It's a different form, and
which brings back
it
the
probably
trauma.
reminded him of the trauma. Right.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's where I think that's personally what
So
I take out of that scene. But I get both of them. But I
yeah,
think
because
it's
when
more that. I think it's more the
when
trauma thing.
when he gets to the point of the mannequins. Actually, I don't want to get there yet. I want to see what Ben had to say about the graveyard scene, and because I liked
Yeah,
it.
because
Part of me thought it was too
we're in the
quick.
home run now.
Yeah,
We're in
part
the
of me
home
thought the
stretch here.
graveyard scene was too quick at first, but then but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's not that typical slasher movie. You're not gonna draw out the final scene because it's in his eyes and not like a Sidney Prescott or a or I already forgot the other final girls or Laurie Strode. It's not
Hmm.
through their eyes; it's through his eyes. So that's what. So it worked the way it did.
Hmm.
No reason I feel like maybe it went too fast because of all the other buildups, but it's like a small not pet peeve, but a
Yeah,
small like nitpick type of thing. So, but
that was actually my main complaint was, go figure, every other scene was
mhm.
drawn out and long and very methodical in its planning and with the scenes. And in this one, I feel like everything happens in a span of fucking 2 minutes.
Mhm.
Uh, I love the graveyard set that they used. I thought it was very poetic that he was very adamant on visiting his mother at that point because they mentioned it a couple times, and then the girl that gets away, like Joe said, go figure, it's when he was trying to visit his mom. Like a fucking dum-dum. Maybe that also got into his head. That was also my thought.
A lot. It's very layered.
He's an ogre, and ogres are like onions, so you got to peel those layers of this movie. They're not like parfaits at all.
You go from Scooby-Doo to 13 Ghosts, and then you just use Shrek with.
No, to be fair, I've compared this movie to a lot, mainly Psycho and Joker.
That's expected.
Two very different movies, but yeah, you know what? Then sure, this movie is Shrek to me. There you go. I said there's my
you're fucking Shrek to me. So
well, true. No, anyway, hold on. So I just want to say I actually adored it. I fucking loved it. I really loved the cheesy ass zombie mom coming out of the grave and grabbing him to kind of try to get him one more time to really dig home that he's A, psychotic, B, fucking he's lost. Like not just like the battle, but the war, like, because probably he knows too. He's fucked. He knows, like, now there's that one person that gets away. That's it, man. You're fucked. You're done. So I think it was everything coming to a close. But I loved it. This scene was fucking awesome to me.
Well,
it
totally redeemed itself.
Yes, it did. The last 10 minutes of the movie totally redeemed itself for me.
Speaking of that, let's just run through the end of the movie because this shit gets fucked.
Yeah, now it's done.
In horror history, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So then it goes to him running home, and now all of a sudden the fucking mannequins are coming to life, and they start tearing him apart like zombies, and this shit gets goddamn wild. And then the fucking fade out of all the girls ripping him apart reminded me of Tales from the Crypt episode. Like, it just reminded me of something like cheesy, like what happened at the end of like, this is what you get.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and then it kind of fades out. It's like almost like an anthology cheesy thing. This scene was insane. Like, this scene was the pinnacle of this movie, other than the chase scene in the bathroom and the subway. That, like, there are so many different horror movies in this movie. It's maddening, but it makes sense because you're talking about a movie called Maniac. You're talking about a guy who has psychological issues, right? Like, who has a lot of like trauma and issues and mental health issues and things like that. So this is what goes through the fucking mind of somebody like this, right? So the fucking mannequins coming to life blew my mind. That was the wildest scene. I don't think, and I forgot, I'll be honest, this is the only scene I forgot about. Like, everything else I remembered about this movie for the most part. Some of the, like, the plot points and stuff I might have forgotten about, because when Joe Bob talks about it, as I mentioned earlier, it's the first time I ever saw this movie. He cuts in during some things, almost like a commercial, and talks about them, so you kind of get taken out of it for a minute. So I don't remember this at all, and what a pleasant surprise, because I really truly did not remember the end of this movie at all. I don't remember ever seeing this. What the fuck, man? Like, what a weird, like,
what a rush
into a movie. And then it goes into like cops fucking rushing into his apartment because he's finally caught, because the whatever the lady's name is got away. Reed is the one he killed. Like, I don't remember the lady's name that got away.
I'm sure his neighbors heard him screaming too.
Yeah, or that, or who the fuck knows? Like,
a myriad of reasons. Yeah,
could be a couple different reasons. Either way, the cops show up. It's like all of a sudden it comes back to like there's a little bit of like a shadow out. You think that's the end of the movie. Then all of a sudden it like comes back up with like cops or detectives coming to his house. And this is where they go into the basement or whatever, and they bust in and they like point the gun at him, and then you realize, oh, he's dead, but like he did it to himself. He like was that harakiri, like he like stuck the sword through his own chest.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat. He did a good old harakiri.
I mean, that's more ancient fucking.
Nope, only came from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with Mortal Kombat. Sure.
It was more stomach than chest, but
it came from MK Ultra.
But yeah, that's what they did back then. Like, that was the honorable way to die. Is if you knew that you were about to be taken by the enemy, you fucking do yourself, because you don't want the enemy getting your secrets and torturing you. You want to go out in honor. That's the way they did it. The warrior's way of dying. So, but
interesting putting this together with him.
Yeah, it's just weird because maybe he looked at himself like that's what he was. I mean, that's another little thing to think about. I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into the fucking lore of this movie because I don't think there was that much.
Very honorable of you, Frank.
About them. Yeah, very honorably, Frank, you fucking murderer of
You
women,
piece
and
of shit.
scalper of heads.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like it's just a weird, and then all of a sudden like they just go. What's even funnier about this goes into the sleaziness of the fucking city. Instead of like calling in a report about the dead body, they just go, he's dead, and like they walk out and shut the door and walk away like, oh, somebody else's problem. We don't want to deal with this. That's New York City in 1980. Like that's what like all the fucking documentaries I've seen. Like, it's somebody else's problem. We're not doing a coke bust. We're not gonna get a fucking name in the headlines or be able to rob somebody of their money. We're just gonna fucking leave this one for the next guy. Like that reminded me. And
See,
then,
that's a good point because I thought he just called. They were gonna call later, but that did look very
no,
like, nah.
No, it looked like they didn't give two shits, man.
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck. Like that's classic New
Yeah,
York City.
they
Cops.
did not
There's
care.
a really good documentary about the '80s, the cops in the '80s of New York City.
Yep.
I think it's called the 5-1 or the 5-0 or something.
It's
along
the
those lines.
5-0, I think. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've seen other ones
Dude,
that
Yeah,
reach
Joe,
into that,
it's
but yeah.
fucking amazing. And the guy that writes the book or the documentary is about Michael something. He's been on Joe Rogan a couple times to talk about it, and it's phenomenal to listen to him talk about how corrupt the fucking cops in the 80s and the late 70s were, where they would literally like hold you up. They would hold up drug dealers to steal their coke, steal their money, steal their coke, put them in jail, and then go and sell the coke or do it themselves. Or they would like steal a drug dealer's Corvette and take the pink slip and then fucking like just keep it for themselves. Or like the whole it was fucking nuts. But that's what I see when I see that kind of stuff. Like I know the real story about a lot of those things. So, or as many of them as I have been able to watch. The whole end of this movie is so wild though. Like you guys are more than welcome to jump in. I'm glad I got my thoughts out on it. I have to pee real quick, so don't mind me. But you guys talk about what you thought about the end of this movie, and then we'll wrap this baby up.
So yeah, the mannequins attacking him. That was some wild stuff that just came to life. So that's where I think the kills were real, because when the cops came in, you see the scalps on the mannequins. So, but one of the things I noticed, so like Ed said, they find him. He killed himself. He didn't get his head ripped off, but that whole scene is just so brutal for somebody to be so like mentally ill that he's imagined his victims, or the mannequins that dress like his victims, to rip off his own head,
fucking annihilate him.
That's how much mental pain this person is in. Like, you're just like, that's fucked. That's crazy. Like,
that's my thing. How bad does he hate himself? And like, I don't know if that's more of like a remorse thing, and he's emotionally and mentally punishing himself. The other thing is, wow, how bad am I with like comparing these scenes with other kill scenes? Because when I first watched it, all I could picture him when Frank was getting torn to pieces is him saying "choke on him," like in Day of the Dead.
Nice.
So that and that is Tom Savini. So that you can definitely see he borrowed from that to do Day of the Dead. But granted, one was way better than the other one.
You see his style even in Friday 13th from Maniac too. You can see
for
it
sure.
big time.
But no. It's not always. I don't always try to compare, but like I always try to like draw comparisons for that. Like that's easier for me to remember the scenes later. It's like, oh, this reminded me a lot of that. But yeah, that reminded me a lot of Day of the Dead when the soldier guy's like, "Oh, choke on him." But no, I thought the same thing with Ed too, and the cops caught him, saw that he was dead, or is he?
Yeah. Which actually is another great way to end.
Yeah, come on, of course. And then go figure, they made a Maniac 2, but it's not even about Frank.
Motherfucker, they did.
It's a short. What's his face is in it, the original actor, but he's a different guy.
I mean,
he's called Mr. Robbie. Nope, it's something.
I'm gonna watch that.
It's a short. All
right.
They did. I'm gonna wait for Ed to put his headphones on. They did in fact make a Maniac 2, but it had nothing to do with Frank.
Well, I mean,
but the same actor's in it.
Frank's dead, but we don't really know.
But is he though?
We don't know.
Yeah, no. Like I was telling Joe, the main thing I thought when that scene was happening was I kept thinking that it looked just like the scene from Day of the Dead with the soldier going choke on him.
Okay.
Damn, that's all I get.
Getting ready for a rating.
Damn. All right, yeah,
So
fuck it. Let's go to the. All right, Ed. What final thoughts then? Let's go to you first.
So,
Fuck it.
final thoughts.
Looks worse than last time.
I love that Joe brought back the wig.
Good.
So
wait, my eye.
here's what I have for this. I put look, this movie clearly isn't the alien, the trick. Okay, look, this movie clearly isn't Alien or Nightmare on Elm Street, but there's a lot of charm here, and that's what I love about this movie. It's far from perfect. It has a lot of plot holes and just really odd choices that kind of like move the story along. But that doesn't mean that it's not good because of that. It just means that it's different. Again, very low budget, right? But I put this is such
I wear
a good
them
movie
easily.
for a 1980. This is such a good movie for a 1980 movie for a 1980s like 1980 movie, right? This came out a lot way before a lot of the big slashers that we know of and like the ones that we've come to love, or right around the time of the original ones. So it really did get kind of lost in the shuffle. Out of 10 scalps,
I knew it.
I'm gonna go with 7.5 because you didn't quite get the last one. I'm gonna go with 7.5 because I can't get it to a full 8 and I can't get it any higher than that because there are some issues with this movie. I'm not gonna sit here and say that this is perfect. I'm not gonna sit here and try to sell anybody over on the fact that it's any different than what it is. But Savini's effects are phenomenal. Savini being in the movie gets a little bit of a bonus. There are some other things where I just flat out love some of the choices that they made with the movie. I love a lot of the cinematography. I love a lot of the sound design. I love the story. And when you really dig into it from a reviewer's point of view, you dig into the psychosis of the movie and really more or less why the movie's called Maniac. Joe, you look like you belong in
A museum.
and I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it because you kind of look
rock
like
and
you
roll
just have,
museum.
like, a mustache. Yeah, I love it. You kind of look like you're trying to rip off Tony Iommi right now, which I love.
Yeah, you do.
I love it. You should wear that morphin. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with
Squeezing my
7.5 scalps. I really truly my heart wants to rate it higher because overall I really do. I find a lot of love for this movie, but it's not a perfect movie, but it is it should be highly regarded, and that's why it's gonna be well above average for me. So out of 10 scalps, whoever wants to take the floor next, you're more than welcome.
I will go ahead because
Save the wig for last.
You got to save the wig for last. That was my main thing. Everything, because like I think Joe does. I write my stuff afterwards. So I always make sure to write my score down. So when I say my score, we did it again. I said that Maniac, it's more than just a slasher movie. It is a psychological thriller in its own way. It's more of it's a character piece. It's and I think there are some definite low points, but Frank as a whole reels it in towards the end, and he becomes a he unfortunately he won't be iconic. He just won't. It's just how it is. But if you're a big horror fan, you will definitely remember all of the things that he went through, all of the kills, everything about it. I really liked this movie. Just unfortunately, there were definitely some low points with the photography scenes and him trying to woo Rita, I think was her name. For some reason, I just didn't care. Anna, thank you. I also gave this movie a 7.5.
So Ben talks about it kind of in a low light and give it a pretty high score. I talk about it in a really high light and give it a low score.
Yeah,
so
it's just
weird that we're the same one.
I praised everything about I had the high points were so fucking high for me. Like I absolutely adored the kill scenes of this horror movie. I think they were all, dude, so well done, and in my opinion, so ahead of its time, dude, ahead of its time.
Yeah,
I
agree.
And I feel like it did kills better than what Friday movies could do later on in the series. It's
because it had the fucking master at it. I mean, it had Savini, which I think the only Friday movie that he did was the first one. Could be wrong though.
Off the top of my head, yeah, he definitely did at least 2, but I only remember him doing the first one, so I won't talk about that. But I also say that watching Friday 7, and I don't think it holds up. Anyway, I really liked it. It's just the low points dragged it down a little bit. That was it. It just sucks.
Okay.
But that was
Still
all.
a good movie.
I really like it. Like I really like this movie.
Good.
So
are you gonna go ahead and check out the Joe Bob version?
Oh, hell yeah, I'm pumped.
Okay.
I'm glad. I'm so happy I watched Maniac alone first,
my first Joe
and
Bob.
then I'm
you
gonna.
have thought higher of it.
Yeah. That's true, actually.
All right, Joe.
So
Final verdict.
This
Real at home
hit me on a lot of high notes. I really was trying to look for lower ones because, like, I guess I'll say my low one real quick. Probably like some of the little plot holes I agree with, but they weren't too big to me. The awkward moments with him and Anna I liked because it took the heat down a little bit and then bring it up. I felt, and then the other downside was like how quick we got to the graveyard scene because that's always a really well shot scene, and then all of a sudden you just like bam after all the other build-ups. But that's really it. And other than that, it's a very uncomfortable movie to watch. Like it's one of those movies I want to watch multiple times. Like I watched Friday 13th. I probably will a few times because of that character development, that character piece. But I have to be in the mood for it because it is pretty
dark.
It's a tough one.
Really tough.
It's a tough watch.
But,
it does make you feel gross.
But because of all like the 80s effects and the time they took in building this character and its history and all the things it hits me with like that 80s grit, and then like in all the true crime and serial killers, I seen every theme, even though they didn't mean to put those certain ones. It's a testament of its time. It captured everything you would ever watch in a documentary. You know, everything.
I'm fucking dying watching you with that wig on.
I know, I'm trying to be serious this thing on, but it's funny.
No, keep going. It's so good.
So
it's so good.
It hit so many different levels on me. And it is, and you know, I also appreciate movies a band. I love that history. I can't help it. I love that effect it has in society because that means it arouses the kind of emotions, you know, and you want art to do that. So I came very close to a 10 on this.
I'm not surprised.
Very close because of all those reasons, but because of the uncomfortability and because of like, you know, some of the too realism. Like, you know, it'll be easier for me to watch Friday 13th multiple times than this, but I really am gonna push myself to watch it again because of how well it was. I wanted to give a 9.7, but I'm just go for 9.5.
Okay, I like it.
9.5
I'm okay with that
scalps.
Because so 9.5 scalps. Here's the deal. Put it this way, Joe. Watching it
mannequin arm.
Watching it the way I did it, with the Joe Bob version first. I thought for sure this was going to be an almost 10 movie for me, like a 9 to a 10 movie for me. Watching it back, I lost steam in a couple parts, and like because I didn't have like the love affair from the. I think you being the other way, like watching it, like and finding so much to love about it now. If you rewatch it with Joe Bob, you're gonna go, oh no, this is a 10.
Yeah.
Like
it
shows you why you should love this movie.
It hits things, and it's unfortunate. It's great. It's a cult classic, but it hits a lot of things that a lot of movies that we love now was. I feel like, and I have to do more research. I didn't do enough for this part. I feel like it did it first.
I agree.
On a lot of notes, I think it did a lot of things we love in a lot of franchises.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. That constantly be repeated. It was in this movie first. It really, and it's almost like a breach of a decade. Like going from it's like the start of the 80s is Maniac. Like it's wild.
We should do one of the this is another random thought I had too. This is actually before we did this show. This is actually right after I finished this movie. We should do one of those things. I would love to have this as like a graphic or something where we give it like a BBH seal of approval or something fucking corny like that. So if if we ever like I feel like I think across the board the highest rated movie was Army of Darkness, or at least the first one. Be like, oh, this definitely gets the fucking seal of approval or something like that. And I feel,
to be totally honest with you, pretty much every movie we've watched so far has gotten that. But I mean, like, I know what you mean. There's a certain rating or a certain seal of approval
once
really
I feel like once it hits that certain threshold, like 8 or higher or something, because even now, that would average out to like seal, like we should give it our own seal of approval just so you guys should watch it as this sort of character piece instead of just strictly a slasher movie like Friday would be, like Halloween would be, even because granted Halloween in a way is kind of a character piece also. Um,
Oh yeah, the shape. Yeah.
definitely with Michael as a whole, or as a shape. But yeah, no, like Frank is such an interesting human being, and in a bad and a good way.
Yeah.
That shows, and
I agree.
that goes into another thing. In plus, this is another thing we really don't have to talk about for too long, but this definitely shows what child abuse can really do to somebody.
Oh yeah, that it's again, it's a the when you really break this movie down, you start putting all the points together on
Yeah.
what this movie was about. It was more about like trauma and
Yes.
what that can cause somebody to do than it was just about like a serial killer with no explanation on why they're killing. Like
Mhm.
that's why a movie like this should be more highly regarded than other movies that are just pure. Like realistically, as much as I love the original Texas Chainsaw, I'd rather watch this movie 1,000 times over that. And I think overall, the story is better. Like as great as it is to
Yeah.
have that storyline of, well, you don't really know why these people are this crazy.
Right.
You just know
Texas
that they're
Chainsaw is a
crazy.
tough watch, man.
Well, that right, which what makes it great, and that's part of why it's so good. But this is better in my opinion because this isn't necessarily like
It's
yes,
an
it's
easier
a slash
watch.
movie, but it's so much more than that though. It
Mhm.
really is. It's you can look at this. I mean, if you take out like the gory parts of it, it's just as much of a psychological movie as
That's
I
what
don't
was
want to say
hooking me
Seven, but it
more.
is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's up there. It's up there more with like a Silence of the Lambs. Like it's showing you like
Mhm.
why the killer is the way he is. It doesn't hide who the fucking killer is. It doesn't try to like honey dick you at the end and make you go like, oh no,
And it
oh
is
was he
through his
who
eyes
the who
throughout
done it?
most of the film too.
Yes,
Through his
yeah,
eyes.
Correct.
it definitely is.
That's the terrifying thing too.
There's none of the fucking who done it bullshit. It's why he done it, not a
Mm-hmm.
who done it. That's why it's such a good movie. So it deserves way more praise than what it gets.
Right.
And I would say if you want, I mean, we'll definitely come up with some kind of a fucking bonded by horror like
Yeah, like
stamp or something. But for
just
right now, I mean, this would definitely be up there. This is one of the ones I would suggest.
I
over
would
pretty much everything else
well,
we've watched
that's
so
why I
far.
was asking because this would well, besides, I'm biased. I would say Army of Darkness definitely gets my
Yeah, but those
fucking
movies are different, man. That
stamp.
Pet Cemetery 2, movies like that, like they're they're uh they're like music videos, like they're easy watch. Like anybody can go, whether they're a horror fan or not. Anybody can go watch those movies and find something cool.
Like, dude, anybody
you gotta
could
be a fucking fan of horror.
Yeah.
To even search
My
this
thing is
movie
like,
out,
bro,
let alone
like
sit and
no
watch
fucking
it.
shit. You could sit there and watch Nightmare. You could watch Friday. You could watch Halloween. You can sit there and no duh. It's like an easy watch. You could watch Texas Chainsaw, the first one. You could argue Chainsaw 2 is where like that's an easy watch too. Bill Moseley fucking sells that whole movie. But like there's movies like Maniac. You have to be a true horror fan to be like, dude, Edge of the Axe is awesome and like here's why. And I think that's where we would start to make that distinction of this is why you should watch this movie.
Here's a good discussion between the two. So both B or less, movie budget wise, both underground, both lesser known movies. Maniac's a little more known in like true fandom than Edge of the Axe. But here's why this one stands above that, because at least the story really does. There's like no real plot holes in the story. The story, like when you really dissect it,
Yeah, Edge of the Axe is
makes
all over the
sense.
place.
Edge of the Axe is all over the place, and like
and I was
fun as
depressed
that
and
movie
I
is,
had a headache.
but you know that movie is not that good of a movie, but that's why it's so good, because it's fucking absurd. It's not a good movie at all.
There's way
and that's
more
what
stuff
makes it a
to
good
laugh
movie.
at too
This
in terms
is
of
actually a
cheesy.
good movie, but people don't fucking realize how good of a movie it really actually is, because
Yeah.
it's kind of shrouded in like the fucking shadow of a Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
or,
and I really don't think of this movie as
Halloween,
a straight slasher movie. I actually really don't
No,
think
it's
of it.
not.
It's not.
Even though that's what it gets lumped
It's
into.
supposed to
not.
be.
I don't think so.
And I feel like that's so unfair to movies like this. Is it's supposed to be shown as it's a lot. I guess like subcategory. Like yeah, you have to say it's a slasher movie, but I don't know.
No, they put it in psychological, like slasher, psychological, not thriller, but psychological slasher.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't need that just.
Well, I think
just
the
stamp.
exploitive. I think when they got the exploitive label, that really hurt it. Unfortunately, it either hurt it or it helps it sometimes, depending. Depending on the timing of the movie or the timing of when it gets labeled like that. There's a lot of other things that play into what happened with with the movie around that time too. So
Yeah, because there was a ton of stuff happening fucking early 80s, obviously. Like Ed said, he's a big fan of Waco, so
Waco's
That was
90s, dude.
that was early 90s.
No, I'm just saying he
Yeah,
is he is still a big
was-
fan of Waco.
I am, but that was still early 90s.
No, he's still a big fan.
And Jonestown
You're
was
off
late
by
70s.
you're off a decade.
Off by a couple of months, yeah.
Damn straight. Then that's when you get the 90s best time period of all time.
Jesus Christ.
Do we
And-
want to do another fan suggestion, or do we know what's up for next week?
Do we know
If we have any, I mean, I think we need to change it up. I think we need to go with. We've done like the gruesome horror. We've done the more surreal horror. We've done a bunch of slashers in a row. I would still like to go into underground. I wouldn't mind going a little more modern. I wouldn't mind going a little more. I wouldn't mind going back towards like what was the movie, Joe? I think you said it earlier when we were going back and forth. Was it The Wretched? Is that the witch movie? From last year?
Want to do that one because that's got a lot of old school quality. To
Yeah,
it,
something like
it's very
that.
modern.
That's where my brain is at, dude. I'm thinking something.
Okay, let's do it.
I want to bring it forward, but really like, unknown. But something that I haven't thrown out because I throw out there are movies that I fucking really fixate on, just like there's bands that I fixate on with my other show.
Mhm.
So something like The Wretched would be great. So if you have a
Let's do
different,
The Wretched.
if you want to do
It should be on
if you want to
Hulu,
do
I
The
think.
Void, yeah, I think it is. The Wretched
The
would be fine.
I
The
would love
Void,
to do The Void.
it's up to you. The Void, The Wretched, one of those, like in that realm. I think the Wretched would be a little more fun because it's summertime and we're trying to stick to that theme right now.
It's
And it's I mean, as much of a horror movie as it is, it's also kind of a coming of age movie in a sense. So I think that would be kind of cool to
Dude,
change it up from the
I've
classic
seen it
slasher.
like 4 times. I'd love to see it again and break
Cool.
it down with you guys.
Yeah, let's do that one. I mean,
Alright.
you brought that one up earlier.
Yeah.
If Ben's cool with that one, I think that's the way to go. I think we should do The Wretched. So I think, or something along those lines. If somebody comes up with something else,
I have a weird,
quick, I mean-
like me personally, I have a weird idea, but I don't know if it would be not exploitative, but I feel like we're in a time period where we should be celebrating certain things that I feel like I should say it off camera just in case. Yeah,
say off camera, 'cause we're trying to take a breather from the exploitative.
Yeah, I'm gonna-
yeah,
we
that's
do
kind
it.
of where I'm
I'll-
going. Yeah.
I'll explain my reasoning, Joe. Put a pin in it because I definitely have an idea.
We'll talk right after this.
Yeah,
we're
and-
after off.
Yeah,
So anyway, let's I guess we've said pretty
let's
much.
just do that one.
So Wretched, I think you guys really like or
Bam.
like it
All right.
enough for this
Yeah,
show.
I've never seen
Oh
it,
yeah,
so-
I love that movie.
I've
I
never
think it's
seen it.
fantastic, and I would love to see it again.
I've heard
Oh,
nothing
I
but
didn't
good.
realize it.
I'm
Oh,
definitely
shit.
down.
I have heard
Okay, so-
nothing but fantastic things about
Good,
it.
we'll skip.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad we
Feel
could
like
save it for this. All right, plugs, boys.
And I've really rarely heard anybody talk about it. It's not a lot of people know about that movie. So
Sick.
even though it came
It's
out a year
unfortunate because
ago,
everybody says there's no original horror movies, and there's a shit.
Is
ton of
it-
I
original
think
horror
it
movies
came out
there.
in a weird time, man. I think it came out during the pandemic, and I think a lot of people
Yeah, it
really
did.
fucking didn't know when to look for things.
I
so
know
think
it came out 2 years ago, man.
No, I don't even think that was it.
No,
think it was
2019.
2019.
2019.
2020.
I
was
think
it?
the release was 2020. It probably was filmed 2019, but it got released 2020. I think.
Yeah, I don't. I
think.
remember. I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah.
Uh,
Or maybe it was,
that's just when we heard
in the
about it.
fest. No, because the Wretched. picked the
United
shit.
States. All right, so it came out during a festival, 2019.
Okay.
So
Okay,
yes,
so-
the actual
quick,
release
and
date is 2020.
I'll bring it up again when we
Cool.
talk about it. It kicked
Excuse
the
me.
shit out of the drive-ins during the pandemic. So it was big to a certain degree, but now people are not talking about it still. It brought in horror a lot of money in the drive-ins during the pandemic. Wretched
has
was one,
really
Death
good
Eat was
reviews.
another one, I believe. Yeah.
Wow.
So that would be a great thing to talk about.
Cool.
Yeah, this movie's very good, man. I like that call because it's summer. It's a different. It's gonna be a breath of fresh air compared to what we've just did 3 in a
It
row.
will be. It
The
will be.
last, we need a breath of fresh air, man. And like I wanted something that I hadn't thrown out there yet because I've thrown out a lot of different stuff.
Because all
so
three of the
this
ones
is-
in a row did have a certain brutality to them. The axe swinging in the edge of the axe, Poughkeepsie tapes
Yeah.
off the beam.
Cubes Teams, yeah. The last 3 movies, I need a little bit of a palate cleanser. So
You need a
let's,
palate.
let's go with something a little more fun.
All
Right.
right, this is
And,
our
what
shower
else we know,
movie.
so- Yeah, this is and
All
it's not exactly a shower movie, but it's definitely going to be a breath of fresh air compared to what we've been
Yeah,
watching.
yeah.
All right,
yeah.
so we'll figure out
Plugs.
the date, leaning
sorry.
towards next Thursday if we're all open. If not, we'll let you guys know. Plugs. Go ahead, Joe. You go first, and I'll go last so I can get it out of the way.
You can find me on Twitter, JCW Horror Writer. You can find me on Facebook, JC Walsh, Instagram and Slasher JC Walsh 81. My releases are on Amazon, Death Highway, and Within the Abyss. And also you can find the anthology I mentioned earlier that I'm in with other fantastic authors called Dark Words. Holy crap. And then the other horror show I do with Armand Rosamilia will be our new one will be coming up soon. We haven't got a chance to do that yet, but that's usually monthly anyway. So, but that'll be coming up soon. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think it's it.
Cool. Ben?
What up, boys? All right, so I'll always say if you're watching live, you know exactly where you can find me. If you're watching on YouTube and Spotify, twitch.tv/ScroogecChamp, Instagram ScroogeChamp, Twitter ScroogeChamp. It's all the same shit. I'm gonna be starting to go back into streaming a lot more. I just had to take a break, but love you guys. That's about it. Shout out to Horror Decor, boys. They made fucking awesome pillows
and candles and many other things. And it wasn't just a pillow that we got. Thank you, Joe, by the way, for the sweet snack pack.
No problem.
It's a sweet
Bring back
pillow.
to our
Very nice pillow, actually.
Our young talk about coming of age.
This is quite a fucking amazing pillow, and it was came really quick. Granted,
it's my nightmare.
Live in a state. Ben, I think, lives right up the road from the dude that makes these, Matt. So, and his wife. But yeah, it's a nice little thing. Had some pop rocks in there. Had some other cool little things in there.
They always put a little cool stuff in there.
It's very cool, and it also had. I saved the. There's some like business cards in there. Then there's a postcard that says like from Joe Walsh or something on the back. So I'm gonna save that and keep that. I'm gonna put that up.
Oh, I didn't know they did that. They're funny.
Yeah, it's very cool. So thank you very much, Joe. Yeah, quick plugs. Let's wrap this one up. Eddie Vegas, Eddie_Vegas on Instagram is where you can find me personally, or if you go on Facebook, I'm Eddie Sherman or Eddie Vegas. If you look up either one, I'm the same one. You'll see me. I look like me all the time. I did start wrestling again. I brought that up last time. I am going to unfortunately have to miss my second comeback date. They're all just closed tapings right now to try to get us like back into it, because I do have some family obligations coming up in this weekend. So the episode
Boo, family sucks. Boo.
New Vision. Yeah, right. Actually, our family's pretty cool.
Nah.
I'm currently featured on Nova Wrestling, which is on New Vision. It's like a Google TV and Roku TV thing. So if you have like, it's a new channel that's starting up. We're on there. It's Thursday nights. It actually
I forgot to before.
That's all right.
Death Highway. New Vision. It's called shit. I'm fucking.
It's called shit. That's weird.
Yeah, it's called shit. It's Nova Wrestling. I can't remember the name of the actual show right now, so I apologize for that. I could look it up, but I got a lot going on. So Nova, that's where I'm featured right now. My match, my first comeback match in over 2 years, should be coming out soon. So be on the lookout for that. You can find my old matches if you look me up on YouTube, just Eddie Vegas, Rhode Island Wrestling, or Massachusetts Wrestling. I am back to that, and I'm also part of Pumpalicious. Pump-O-Licious is my tag team. That's where we're from. So Too Sweet, Too Swole. But you can also find me and the boys here. The hub is Bonded by Horror on Instagram. That's our hub. That's where we are. We're not on Facebook because Facebook is kind of a dying thing, and it's hard to build a new. If you don't already have a fan base there, it's hard to build a new one there because of the way the algorithm is now. I didn't make a Twitter either because it's very similar.
I share it on Twitter.
Really where it's at. Yeah, you share it on Twitter. I have a Twitter, but it's not worth looking at because I don't really respond to much. But I mean, I'm personally on Instagram. I'm personally on Facebook. But the show is mainly, the hub is Instagram. It's the most interactive. It's the most fun way to talk to people. I've already had people ask us for recommendations for horror movies, which I just gave out some today. I've had people message me and tell me how much they enjoy the show already. And you can find us now on YouTube weekly. We're going to be dropping shows weekly where we purposely set up about 5 weeks ahead of time. So airing tomorrow, which is Friday, if you're watching this live, you'll see episode 3, which is the first main event Friday night show, which was original or OG versus remake, which is Amityville versus Amityville. So go check that out if you've never saw that'll be a fun one. Show. Lots of fun. We get fucking ripped up in that one, and we have a lot of fucking fun discussions in that one. So that was really, like, the first 2 were really good, but that I feel like is where we took a turning point, because that's where we realized, oh hey, we can just talk about like social commentary with movies and stuff too. We really kind of got into like the real life things that lead into these movies. So I thought that was really fun, and that's really where you can see like we kind of turn a page, because this is still a new thing. We're only 7 episodes. Thank you very much for everybody that's joined us. Oh yeah, Spotify for if I didn't already say, Spotify for the audio version, YouTube for the video version. Look out soon. We're gonna start doing some YouTube exclusive things like quick movie reviews. I have it's warm in my place here, so I apologize. My tongue is not quite as silver as it normally would. But let's wrap it up. Boys, I had a fucking lots of fun tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed this. Check us out coming up this week. It's probably going to be another Thirsty Thursday, so mark your calendars for next Thursday, which will be June 10th or somewhere around there.
And all of our Instagrams will say it anyway.
The Wretched, right?
The Wretched. Sounds good. Right? All right, guys.
All right, gentlemen.
Peace out. Much love.
Stay bloody, my friends.